get higher. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. Thank you, Obi. It's been a fun one. We'll see you guys at 2. It's going to be some midday madness with the Bash Brothers. Go get them.
Hey, guys.
You can hear me sing. Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That right there is your boy Joey. Options. I look like I have a lot more energy than I in fact have in real life, guys. I'm working off fumes. Hopefully we'll have a good day today. Let's shout out to everybody in the chat. Come on, you Gunners. Let's go, Benton. It looks like we're making those 2 signings quick as you like. Shout out to Darwin. I can hear you saying shout out to the OG, bro. We got Other Zinc. We got Marvy, Jacques, DJ, David, Bunny. Shout out to Adrian and Shadow, S7. All Things Trump and T Pence. We got Yorkie, Susie Fox, 3 7s, Rosie Gray Glasses. Shout out to Chef Joe and Oleg, Daniel R, Mike, the Stock Impaler. Impale those stocks, Mike.
Impale him, brother.
China. Midnight. We got Sean. We got not our Sean. You know, a different Sean. Juggernaut. Mike. Martin Z. We have Big Eyes Gallagher. Okay. M-Sense. Sean. Something or another. Junior Son. Dabba Dabba something. Gray Worm. We got Hakuna Matata. Vinay. We got Joseph. Waleed. Randall. New Life Solar. Echoes of Wisdom. CompuCare team, shout out to Safa, shout out to Roger Noonan, Tyler Smith, and nephew with a capital P. Let's get things. Let's
get rolling.
Let's just get started quickly. So I talked smack about Chelsea.
Yeah.
On Friday, I said that they were gonna get their ass handed to them.
Yeah.
By Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah.
It ended up being the other way around. It was the other way around.
I've seen that.
So I don't know where the hell Chelsea came from, Joseph. But
didn't Donald show up?
and why is Donald on the podium receiving the trophy with the damn team? Donald, you didn't win anything. I won. It's my trophy. Give it to me. And you should have seen like players jumping. He's like,
bro, come on.
Like, Donald, bro, what's going on? It was a fantastic game, Joseph. It was a straight beatdown. Cole Palmer had a fantastic game. He used to be a City player. I don't know why the hell City got rid of him to Chelsea. He basically ran the field yesterday. Yeah, it was a great game. In New York or New Jersey, MetLife Stadium, where the Giants and Jets play, and you could probably tell it was a packed house, right? New York's going to be a big soccer town. Good morning, brother.
Full stop. I mean, a beatdown, like you say. My guy Berlanga got his butt whooped this weekend as well, too. KO on that front. It's unfortunate there. But, guys, yeah, let's get right into trading. Very interesting and flat morning here, as you can see. I took a couple stabs on some names. IBIT didn't work out, so that was just essentially a break-even one. You can see that we added into this. I'll zoom in here so you can see it momentarily. So that was just a break-even trade. I didn't love it up there. And then I also took a stab on MSTR, but it was more of a slow grind. So this was one loss, then a break-even stop out right there. But we're down minimal right now. It's nothing to cry home about. It's Monday, slightly tired as well. And for all my believers over the weekend, your boy was just posted up, just hanging out outside, riding the bikes around the city, having a good time. So yeah, no crazy shenanigans. So shout out to all
lies. Tell the truth. Where'd you go?
I'm telling you.
Where'd you go?
I didn't go anywhere.
I know.
To quote Donald, you are fake news.
Oh, that was so good.
That's crazy.
Dara shut the door too. She did everything right there. You did everything right there, Dara. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that is insane. Hey, listen, playing hockey outdoor. We're playing hockey obviously inside there on Sunday. Saturday, we're just ripping the bikes around the city, getting a lot of sun. And Friday, I was just super cooling. So yeah, it was a nice, somewhat relaxing weekend. But I am still slightly tired, up bright and early. But never mind all of that. And what Joe was up to for the weekend, that's probably the new hottest segment. But there it is, guys. We're in some Tesla right now, not doing too much. We've been sitting in this trade for quite some time. You can see right around 10:30, so just about a half an hour, 40 minutes or so. Looking for that move back towards the volume-weighted average price. But the thing is, though, it's not picking up any form of steam. Oh, no. The market is rallying. You can see the Qs in the SPY just established a new high of the day not too long ago, and Tesla did not want to participate, nor did it even want to head towards the volume-weighted average price. So those were my 3 trades on the day. 2 on MSTR using MSTU. 2x leverage. We go one break even, one loss, and then we take a break even on IBIT as well too. And then now we're long some TSLL, Sharif.
All right, guys, couple of positions. Let's get to the one that's moving crazy. TROO got in $1.30, scalped up into high 30s, added on the move into VWAP, and we got 18s, and it showed me 25s. So we got a position on here. We've taken out all the outs that I had posted, so it's time to wet the beak a little bit more right now. Good look right now on TROO. It's up over 100% on the day. We're going to keep scalping here as it gives me an opportunity to zig and zag with this bad boy. Excuse me, just let me load up my blotter, just see where I'm in. So we've got 34s. I'm going to continue to pack my patience here. I want to see a test of the high of the day. So we just touched 34. This is what we rejected last time, hence why retrace, and I had to add into this position. So the current high of this 5-minute candle is $1.37. So I'm not going to be taking anything out south of 37. We're going to go ahead and we're going to wait at 39. And here is 39, and there it is, Joseph. Now we're looking for a 49 break and take. We got 18s on. Keep your eye on that $0.50. The $0.50 was the problem. Here's the halt parameter triggering at 41s. If it stays like this for 7 more seconds, we're going to be caught in an up halt. We're up 117% at Dara.
Here we have Mark Zuckerberg just posting here online about Meta, providing a little bit of an update here. He's saying that the company is building several multi-gigawatt clusters. The first is going to be called Prometheus. It'll be coming online in 2026. Hyperion, which is going to be, I guess, the next or another one of these clusters, is going to be coming on, or I guess scaling up to 5 gigawatts over several years. Unclear when that one's coming online. But he did also tease some updates here about Meta Superintelligence Labs. He says that this Meta and Superintelligence Labs is going to be having industry-leading levels of compute, and by far the greatest compute per researcher. So here, after we have Mark Zuckerberg announcing over the course of a while a variety of these AI-related acquisitions, now apparently we're going to be seeing these Prometheus and Hyperion clusters. Back to you.
All right, guys, I do apologize about the language. Guys, I thought I was off. You know, obviously, him and I, we speak in a different way when we're off camera, so I do apologize about that. My mistake. Won't happen again. So we're adding to our CAN position, as this one is rejecting that 98 penny area, coming into the volume weighted average price, and this is my opportunity to add. So we initially had 94s on, added at 91. The loss of 90 ends the trade. Simple as that. The volume weighted average price is a little bit ahead of that 90 penny area, so it makes a perfect exit for me. The loss of the 10 penny area as well as the loss of the volume weighted average price. So I'm going to keep my eye out on that one. I do apologize. You guys are so funny in the chat.
They were all...
It's like y'all never heard anyone swear before.
And everyone was like, it was me.
I know, right? You start my... Neil just said his virgin eyes have never heard it.
Yeah.
I know that's what you meant, Neil. I'm playing.
That's crazy.
All right, so I do apologize, guys. Again, you know, we get a little pumped up here on the desk, and that's just kind of the way.
I thought it was me.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. It was Joseph. It was Joseph.
Yeah,
my bad. All right, guys. We are still in up halt, Joey, here on TROO. Just to give everybody an exact time, we did halt 11:07:54. So add increments of 5 minutes onto that. They come in waves of 5, 10, and 15. We'll keep an eye out on this one, Joey.
Yeah, good luck. Exactly, Darwin. It was Trenda. It wasn't any of us, Darwin. But anyways, moving on. Let's see what we got going on. Tesla's not doing too good today, guys. That's all right. This will be the only stab we take at it. And I think it's really important to be able to identify a stock that is relatively strong and something that's weak, right? So you can see that we're taking continuous attempts to try to push back into the volume-weighted average price, and it's just not working out, right? Neil pointed it out this morning as well, too, saying that the tape is just relatively weak. So sometimes we just got to go with what the price action, well, all the time, we have to go with the price actions telling us, and as soon as we start to crack some lows, then I'll just hop out of this trade. I know it says I'm not in any position right now, but that's not necessarily the case. I just haven't made any transactions just yet. That's why it's not being displayed on the screen, and once I do, then you'll be able to see either I hop out of this trade or add a little bit more to that one, all right? So that's what we got going on. Guys, go check me out on X as well. I posted up some stuff on the options chain that we'll touch on here momentarily. There's a lot of supply on NVDA once again. So there it is. Go check your boy at Trader TV Joseph profile, and this is what we just posted. So there's a lot of open interest here on NVDA through 160 to 175. All right, so you can see we got roughly 70,000 contracts there. But then when we run into 175, it's 137,000 and 144,000 right at 170. So first, in order for us to clear this 65, or sorry, to clear 62.5, we obviously got to get through some of these big supply zones, and then even for us to think about getting to 170. You're going to need a massive volatility spike or some big momentum coming into the market in order to absorb all of that supply and then head into that specific range. So there it is. Go check it out at Trader TV Joseph, posting the options chain. And yeah, the swings on IBIT are doing really well, guys. For those who are asking, I know no one was asking, so I just figured I'd mention that. But I mean, yeah. So hey, it is what it is, right? So yeah, we're having a good time on that one. I woke up in the middle of the night, seeing we were trading at around 123.5. So I'm like, okay, let's go. We're getting the ball rolling, and hopefully we can get into the 130s. 135 is going to be one of my primary targets, where I will take off the majority of
and I told you off camera I was going to message this guy last night. Sorry, Darren, 1 second. It was like 119 and change, but we already hit 119. I'm like, it's not good enough. He's not going to get that excited about a high day. And then I wake up exactly like you in the middle of the night.
Boom. I'm like, let's go. Yeah.
Darren.
Did you guys know this stream here with Donald Trump and the Secretary General of NATO did just begin? Of course, right now, nothing market related is being said, but if there are any questions, anything on tariffs that moves the market, I will let you know, because there usually is a bit of a question portion from journalists. Back to you.
Shout out to the Chilean night.
There we go.
Come on.
Ooh, one more. All right. So this is big for me here, guys. That's crazy. 499 followers. That's nothing, but I mean, I appreciate that a lot there. So one more and your boy will hit that 500 follower milestone. But yeah, just have fun with it, guys. Just post, I think, content that's worthy of knowing, and especially in this market. I personally haven't even looked at NVDA today, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
But first thing this morning, I heard a lot of the boys talking about it selling. So what is my natural instinct to do as soon as I hear that there's a lot of selling pressure in something is just to pull up the options chain to see what we got going on. And I just went over those supply zones through 160 to 170.
Fantastic, Joseph. All right, we're done our trade here on TROO as it opens up and it's halted up again. So the halt level 160, I just saw the top very quickly there at 170, coming back down 64, now 61. We took everything out at 51s. TROO is on that good stuff right now. Yeah. It's on that good stuff right now, up 146%. It's got the momentum. It's got the tailwind right now, so keep your eye on this one. Look, it was a little light on volume initially, okay? And I'm going to get to all the other small cap gappers that I've got on in a second. There's quite a few running today, okay? But TROO did have a bit of a choppy start. Let's flip to the 1 so we can get a gander. But you know what I'm going to say about this right away. It is a trade de novo. It was not running in the pre-market. It did not really trade with any significant volume at the bell. You can barely see the candles at 9:30. So what I mean by that is it just started trading not that long ago. I like these ones better. You don't have to pick up the scraps off key areas of technical support. You can take the big boy breakout, but they are more dangerous to trade because they can revert quickly as you like. It hasn't established itself quite yet. So this one really started doing volume here. I see right at 10:30. I'm not even going to bother looking at the news line, but the news headline. But usually these ones flow with the news. Sometimes they don't have news, but when they do, usually the algos react to them quicker than humans can. So you can usually see the news come out on the half an hour, the hour. That's typically how it works in the pre-market. And this one looks like it started moving at 10:30. So it's halted at 160. Right now, it's up 146%. Let's keep all eyes on this one because I'm going to be looking to weasel back in if the trend is in play. And I'll submit to you, it's got a whole bunch of higher highs and higher lows. It doesn't have a pre-market high that we need to concern ourselves with because, as I mentioned, it started running later on. Okay? So good look right now on my friend TROO. TROO right now to the high side, up 146%. The other one we're involved in, we just got a beak wetter. Oh, baby. Ooh. CAN, possibly up to the upside, and we got shares on this one. So let's go ahead and wet the beak again over here. So into 94 3/4 we go. Let's see if this one can test the dollar. I don't want to take out too much too quickly. So the next beak wetter will be at 96 pennies. Hopefully, we'll see if it works its way up there. So this one is a volume weighted average price retracement. I got initially at 94s, added at 92s, as I perceive that to be a good area of support, and then possibly up again. We'll have to wait and see whether this one wants to continue bull flagging, because that's what I see here. 930 move up, and we're putting in a bull flag pattern, but let's see if we can get that bull flag continuation, right? That's what we talk about with the measured move, looking for the length of the bull flag and then projecting that length up from the breakout area. The breakout area is typically the top end of the flag. So there's two parts to a bull flag, right? There's the pole, that's the big move up, and then there's the sideways chop. That's the flag or the pennant, depending on whether we're sideways or compressing. And so the breakout area typically is the top end of range of the flag component. That would be around 98 pennies. The high of the day, 98.8 pennies. So you guys get where I'm getting at there. Let's see how this one does. No. We got other ones on at the moment. SQFT, I'm going to be keeping an eye on that one. Square foot, that's all I can think about there. SQFT square foot, right? I mean, like that's
fair.
300%.
Yeah.
The issue with this one, though, Joseph, it did have a lot of pre-market action. It traded at 4:10 a.m. with significant amount of volume. It traded again at 7:20 a.m. with decent volume. And it took the pre-market high. To be fair, the pre-market high was around 19 1/3. It's got 22 1/3 high of the day. But how many top wicks, how many topping tail candles can you guys spot on this chart? Okay, and that says something about a stock. If it's topping tail this many times, be on the lookout for more topping tails. So what does that mean with respect to actual trading and price action? Meaning, when you make area highs, get ready for the reversal. Okay, don't fall in love with it. Boom, pop up, tank back down. Pop up, tank back down. Here are the pop-ups. We haven't quite tanked yet, but be on the lookout for big retracements on square foot. We're going to keep an eye out on that one. Just quickly here, Joseph.
Yep.
HIMZ, obviously a derivative of HIMS. It's an ETF. This one's breaking out nice, a lot cheaper than HIMS, HIMZ, or Z, sorry. Here we go again. Breaking out at the day high, 22.45. It's up almost 14 2/3%. So if you're looking at weaseling into that, there's an opportunity for you using this vehicle. EOSE, up not that big, about 8.5%, but a good chart pattern over here, losing the 10 but finding support at the $5 area. This could be an interesting add, maybe $4.95 or $5 if it ends up holding. And then OCC. What a beautiful look OCC is. This looks like a buy program. You don't have one breach, Joseph. Not one of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Since 9:35 a.m., we have been above the 10. And since 9:35 a.m., we have not even touched the 10, let alone retracing below. So OCC in play. BGL lost a bid. It's no longer of interest to me. But square foot, CAN, and TROO. TROO is open here again, Joseph, and here it goes to the high side again, $1.81, the high of the day. Keep your eye out for this one. This one's really going here. Probably could see two shortly.
Yeah, good luck there, guys. All right, for those who were actually asking, here it is. Just took a little screenshot of what we got going on here with our swings. These contracts are working out. Still holding on to a little bit of Google, and then obviously just riding with that Nvidia trade from 106, 107. So that's what we got cooking up right now. Up a little bit more, obviously, considering we've started to pull back there on Bitcoin. But yeah, I have a specific target in mind on Bitcoin, and then eventually I'll start to piece them out. But what's not working for us right now is Tesla, as it's heading back towards the lower end of the range. So as soon as we crack this 1130 support, I'll just hop out, because I've added continuously throughout this, looking for the volume weighted average price, but it doesn't seem to want to go. All right, so just keep that in mind. I know a couple of people in the chat were asking me about CoreWeave, so we'll go over CoreWeave and Meta, because that seemed to be some of the hot topics there. And there it is. We're down to $132 on CoreWeave with a pre-market low of roughly around 125 and an intraday high of around 135. Now let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily standpoint. So here it is, a nice head and shoulders. Sharif and I were talking about this multiple times. shoulder 1 head and then maybe shoulder 2, but there is a definitive neckline that you can see right around that $150 target. So maybe I know Shreve's looking for a pullback to that zone and then maybe a continuation to the downside on that front. Now let's take a look at META to see what Meta has been up to on the day. And I think at some point we will break through this range. Support level right at 714 right there, $714. Let's zoom in and see what it's been up to on the session. Okay, so yeah, it's relatively strong, helping drag the overall market up. So that's a positive sign in Meta. You know I love this name, so there's not too much going on with it here today. We're kind of in a funky zone, right? I wouldn't be surprised if the overall market just started to see some consolidation. But one name that I did want to talk about, Brankles and I were referring to this yesterday, I think there's going to be another opportunity to add into this Google swing here, all the way up to maybe about this neckline or this resistance zone around 189. So that's going to be my next play. I already have a core position I'm sitting on. So a little add, I'll probably just double up the size, so nothing crazy. I'm thinking about 30 to 50 shares, so that's nothing substantial. I'm not going to go contracts on this just to due to the conviction I have within the setup, right? So there's certain times when you go contracts and there's certain times when you need to just get involved with shares and not necessarily have to worry about time decay or anything along those lines. So that is my Google swing trade right there. As soon as we get an open and we hold up there, then we're going to be adding, and then 189 is going to be the target where you just take the bulk of it off, and then you just leave another small percentage as a runner. And that's kind of just the name of this swing trading game, right? You have a trade plan, you write it out, you execute it, everything's working out in your favor, you hit your targets, you take some off, you leave some for a runner, and then you wait for reloading opportunities, all right? So that's what we got going on between Alphabet, NVDA, and Bitcoin. Let's see, I don't think that's the thing about IBIT here, right, guys? So this is a massive gap up, and I had this feeling that it's either we're going to gap and go and continue and just go to 125 or something, or we're going to pull back and probably fill the majority of this gap, probably down to this 67.50. I would not be surprised if we go all the way down there. But looking at my at the long-term account, this thing ran up to 70s, and that's a big-time move. So we were happy with that. We will not complain. Shreve heard me call Bitcoin garbage not too long ago, which is absolutely a hot take. I'm being sarcastic, more or less looking for the continuation from an intraday standpoint. But other than that, we can't complain. We go all the way from 110 to 123 in a span of a week or so. So again, yeah, we can be greedy, but that's not the game plan over here. But yeah, we're still holding in these lows here, Sharif, on Tesla. So as long as we don't crack this, then I'm going to continue to hold on to this position. But I will note, with the market climbing higher and Tesla not overly participating on that front, if any selling pressure does step back in, watch out, because Tesla will break through some support levels, and then you'll just have to get out of the trade on that one, all right? So before we send it back to Sharif, do I like BTCI? I'm not aware of that one. I can look it up momentarily. And then Joseph Sharif, thoughts on TNGX? Had a big break today. I got in at 175 when you all mentioned it. That is Sharif's realm, those small caps, so we'll leave that one for him, volunteering you, Sharif, there.
Sure.
But then DAL was something that I was looking at for day 3 on earnings. I think from a daily standpoint, it was looking really, really good. And I think it was, right? So this is what I was getting at. So this is why I was looking at a breakout. This is the daily. You get that strong engulfing on the earnings, a nice inside day, but then you get that open up on top of the range, and then you can see we're getting a little bit of a continuation there. So that's my game plan. I'm going to be patient. I've missed this train on DAL, so now I just have to sit and be patient to see if we can crack through that resistance on Tesla, Sharif.
All right, just responding to everybody in the chat. All right, guys, here's the deal. Let's talk about OCC. Got in here. What I get in 58s. We've scalped up all the way up into 77s. Next peak wider is 82. But I do have a plan DCA to defend that 10 EMA on the 5. But Ilkin Javid, Sharif, you're having great trades, but brother, I don't know how to catch up to enter at the same time with you. Please help us on that. What can we do to solve this on your side? That's kind of the nature of these small cap gappers, Ilkin. That's the problem there. They don't really spend all that much time in any one area, but I really want you to kind of not follow the entries and the exits for me, because I think that you're going to plateau quite quickly if you do that. But just understand why I'm entering at these areas. So one thing that I can tell you, I'm always looking at the 10 EMA at the 5. Always. I chart on the 5, I execute on the 5, and I'm always looking at that 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So right away, you should be kind of looking at whether I'm getting in near the 10 EMA. That's number one. Number two, I'm always looking for areas that are very clear areas of support and resistance. So if there was an area, let's just say the $2 area on a stock that it kept coming into and it kept rejecting, I'm going to be looking to get in on that $2 area if we've cleared it by some distance. Maybe we got up to 250, 260, and now we're retracing back into that $2 area. That was a proven level of resistance. So maybe try to kind of think about why I'm entering in at those areas as opposed to when I entered in at those areas. I always try to give you my honest opinion of why I'm getting in a certain area.
Can I add something to that?
Man, for sure.
Mirror trading, Mew Life in the chat said this, just don't mirror trade, don't copycat trade. As you mentioned, there's no longevity in that. I remember my first day ever going live, I mirror traded somebody and it actually worked. I made like 50 bucks and I'm like, yeah, this is so easy. No, that's not the case because you got to think about the delay in YouTube. So they're in seconds before you, maybe even a minute, but there's no longevity in mirror trading. What happens when Sharif's here and you're not here and you're trading and you're like, oh, what do I do? I'm just trying to copy somebody. No, that's not how trading works. There is absolutely no longevity in mirror trading.
Yeah, and I have to agree with that completely. And we've seen, individuals who like to throw out their what are they called when you send out signals? Is it called signals?
Yeah. I guess they're scans. And
scans, signals, etc. So that's kind of the look, guys. I just don't think that that's a good way to trade. Anyway, I'm going to get stopped out of a position over here. CAN is losing the volume weighted average price, so this will be an L for me if it continues down. 88 is where it triggers, and it is already on the way down there. We'll get stopped out there. So we'll take our first L of the day here on CAN. You win some, you lose some. So I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. If it wants to retrace above VWAP, fantastic. If it doesn't, we're not going to touch this one anymore because it's below the volume weighted average price. But the one I'm focused on now is OCC. Got a decent move here in OCC. Sad that I didn't get my dollar cost average on that move down into the $0.50. The 10 exponential now is at the $0.50 as opposed to 45 pennies. So my dip trade at 45 pennies no longer valid. It's showing me 79s on the level 2, 70 on the level 1, or sorry, on the bid side of the level 2. So the spread is opening up, 88 highs at Dara.
Hello, Sharif. I just want to let you guys know Donald Trump has started taking questions at this event here with NATO Secretary General Rutte. If there's anything of note, I'll let you know, but it is always worth noting when the Q&A period begins. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara.
Yeah, thank you for that. Anything else you want to touch on there?
No, I think I'm okay. Oh, yeah, we'll just mention TROO. So, Joseph, this one did hold down momentarily. So when it did make that previous area high into 81s, it did end up halting, I believe, at 54. But we are now halted to the upside again. And what's really catching my attention about this current candle, the 5-minute candle here at 1125 that we're halted in, is it has a higher low than the down halt candle. So believe it or not, the trend is still intact. We're putting in higher lows on each successive candle, basically since 1055. So it's almost 1130. We have been putting in higher lows since that time. So I want to say TROO still very much in play. It obviously has issues with respect to liquidity because it's not staying open for that long of a time. But yeah, that is a bit of an issue. And then shout out to my man Bovin in the chat. Sorry, Bovin, I didn't get to respond to you, but I want to shout you out. Bovin's got a $10 winner on SQFT, and it's a $19 name, dude. So that is big, big money by your boy Bovin. Shout out to you, Bovin. That's a fantastic trade. So you were in obviously near 13 or the mid-teens because this thing has a high of day of $23 where it double topped. It's still respecting, Bovin, even though this one was halted down. Now it's open at 19.5. Look at this. The respect for that green line is still in play. That 10 exponential holding up for the moment here on square foot. Trade it carefully because it is obviously a spready name and it's a bamboozler. And it has multiple topping tail candles, as I mentioned earlier on. Shout out to Bovin. He's been in since the market opened. Great trade, Bovin. Hope you're printing up multiple storms, my friend.
Yes, sir. Good luck there, as always, Sharif. So yeah, we're just hanging around this money storm. Yeah, this guy hit a 5-figure day. That's crazy. That's big time, man. That's good, man. I'm glad to see that. I love seeing that stuff personally. It also motivates me as well too, because that's the type of stuff that I want to put on, man. A 6-figure trade. That's my ultimate goal, is just to put on one of those. So yeah, hopefully, I'm sure those don't happen all that quick, but we'll get there eventually. But yeah, guys, this is what we got going on. We're still sitting in this trade right here. You can see we get in on Tesla, boom, we add a little bit here, we add a little bit here, and then just for giggles, I almost put another word in front of that, but just for giggles,
don't worry, I already kind of broke the ice there, bro.
For ish and giggles right there, what we're getting on, we just add a little bit more for the people to see if we can get that move towards the volume weighted average price. But it's honestly not looking like it. You can see there is some key definitive downtrend. Until we sit on the backside of this, we're in a little bit of trouble in the volume profile, most definitely cooling off right here. So as soon as it cracks this support, I'm out of this trade. But as soon as we add, or as soon as we sit on the backside of this trend, I'll add a little bit more to this position, because why not, right? And shout out to why not in the chat. But yeah, that's it. If there's anything specific that you guys want to go over, let's see what everyone's looking at on the day. We gone over some options chain stuff. Actually, let's take a look at Google's options chain, because we were talking about breakout territory with this name. And then with that being said, this can obviously give us a massive gauge on what can possibly happen. So there is a little bit of a supply zone at 180 here today, guys. You can see that right at that strike price, 36,000 open contracts. But if that has the ability to be absorbed, then you're going to head into 185. And that's my game plan there, is at 185, 190 on Google. And then we'll just close that out after we add a little bit of more shares to this one. But Tesla, definitely a slow burner. It's unfortunate that MSTU didn't work out for us. MSTU. I'm more of I needed things to work relatively quick for me, Sharif. Otherwise, I'm not that good at managing them, because I would classify myself as a momentum trader. So even though I was like, all right, give myself multiple attempts, looking for the continuation, ABCD pattern, whatever you would like to call it, we get a little pop, and then as soon as it ran into the volume weighted average price, I'm like, it's out, I'm out of here. It held. We get back in, we get slightly more aggressive, so that tightened my stop drastically. And I'm like, oh, okay, I want that momentum to kick. You see, it started to work relatively quick for us. That's what you want to see in a thesis that has a high probability of working out. And then it came back, and I'm like, you know what, I'll just punch out break even, because Bitcoin was selling at the time as well.
All right, TRO just took 2, and it's really breaking out now. So I've switched to the 5-second on the top screen to kind of see when this is in breakout mode. It's got 210 high right now, 212 high. This one's really going. Be careful with this one. It's kind of getting extended. It's got that support level, I want to say, at $1.80, $1.90, but it's all gas and no brakes right now. Seller there at 12s or 11s, kind of hard to see 12s. Certainly the seller at 12. So it is the high day seller that is currently blocking any other price ascension for the moment. Down below 2 we go. Is this the micro pullback? Let's give this one the old community call. Let's try below 193. We're going to get stopped out if it loses that level. So we'll go just like that. And then we got 03s on, so we'll take out 8s. Good look. Let's go ahead and wait at 11s as well. Let's see if this one's got the juice to stay above 12. I'm talking about TROO. Where we got 03s long. I don't know what's going on with the position board. Seller at 5 now. Watch out. The seller is kind of moving down. Seller at 4 now. There's that seller at 5 again. Can't shake that seller at 5. So there is somebody selling here at 5. So we'll likely get stopped out if we can't shake that seller right now. There we go. Back up to 5s. And there he gets absolutely creamed. And we take out the high of the day again, Joseph. It's a 215 high. We got 03s on. Let's go ahead now and wait at 25s. Can we get a little bit more? I'm going to stop out on a break of 2. If it loses 2, it's all over. Back into 15s, 16, 17 high day. We're going to halt here at 17 if it continues in this way. Oh, false halt there. False halt at 17. Back into 15 we go. keep your eye out on this one. Looking for a flatten out, anything below 2, but looking for a squeeze above 216. Watching this one intently, Joseph, as the range per candle signature on this one maintains its reputation of having a wide range per candle. So I'm going to keep an eye on this one. Anything below 2, there we go. 2, we flatten out. Quickly, let's go back to the other trade that we got on, because we're doing well on this one as well. This one, oh, come on, man. I had an order at 82s. I didn't have any orders above that, and this one popped up into 95s, and we didn't participate in any 95 action there because I didn't have an order on. All right, we're gonna let that one cook. Back to TROO as it defended too, so shouldn't have flattened out there. That's okay. We'll continue to watch this one. I don't mind picking this one up in, I wanna say, the high 80s, low 90s. Reason is, the low of the prior candle, guys, 177. So even if we lose the bid like we are right now in the high 80s, this will be a down halt parameter if we stay like this. The reason I don't mind picking up here is because it's still a higher low. Right? That area, the prior low is 177. Now we're going to halt here, Joseph, at 188. So we are down halted now on TROO at 188. I'm still very much interested in getting back into this one. Didn't want to punch into the down halt because you just don't know what the tap is going to do and how long it's going to be halted for. It could be halted for 25 minutes for all I know, right? And the longer we're halted, you guys know how these small cap gappers work. The longer we're halted, the more of a chance that we start selling off, as the more sell orders likely to come in to the auction that's taking place while we're halted. Go ahead, Adair.
Trump actually did reply here to a question about tariffs during this meeting here with NATO Secretary. It is worth noting that basically when asked what type of tariff deals the U.S. is considering, Trump said there are no deals. The letters are the deals. So I guess if a country has received a tariff letter, the implication is that should they not acquiesce, they're going to get this tariff on August 1st. That seems to be the implication. He hasn't opined any further on it, but interesting note there. Apparently, these letters are tariff deals in the eyes of the U.S. administration. So keep an eye here on the market with regards to this tariff update. Back to you.
Dara, yeah, we can most definitely touch on UNH. A lot going on with this name here, right? So you can see you're holding this zone. I think eventually the goal for me would be possibly, if you're looking to kind of swing trade this or whatever you may be doing, is that you most definitely want to get in at the lower end of the range, which we're currently sitting at right now. There's a good risk profile. The thing is, you have to go extremely small on this because it's like, okay, essentially you're not wrong until the crack of 250, but do you want to be holding a handful of shares $50 against you? Probably not. I don't think that's going to be the case. So it's like, okay, you grab a couple down here just to get your skin in the game, and then if it starts to work out, and then once you start cracking some of these resistance levels here, Sharif, then I think that's going to give you the opportunity to add into these positions, and then most definitely once you breach this gap, that's even another add right there. So just be patient on UNH. I think at some point it will recover, but it's just a matter of when, I guess, and you don't want to be holding too many shares or even contracts at this point and holding it $50 against you or anything along those lines. I mean, you could use that as your stop, or you can come even tighter and come to where we have this support level here, and that's going to probably put you around 285 just to be safe. So that's another $15. But again, big risk, big reward with UNH. But you want to see it get rolling for a couple positive catalysts. And for me, it's like I don't like comparing apples to oranges, but it's like INTC, right? Again, a lot of negative sentiment, even though we got Lip Boo in CEO right now. You're going to still need some positive results, earnings most especially, and starting tomorrow, we're going to be rolling into the bank. So I love that. Earnings season's some of my favorite. You find a lot of orderliness in the price action, and I find it significantly easier for me to navigate these markets. But INTC, UNH, apples to oranges, but kind of the same methodology, right? You want to wait for some positive catalysts before you get involved in this name. Excuse me, wow. Now, let's go Tesla, slowly curling over. Positive note here, guys. Okay. We have had the inability to construct any new lows. So there is someone buying up here right around that 313 level. And then now it's looking like we might have the ability to sit on top of this backside of the range here. And then once we do, VWAP's going to be that target. And who knows what can happen at that point. Shorts start getting squeezed. Boom, we're going to climb to the high of the day. And your boy's going to be positioned relatively well on there. And most definitely going to be looking to add on that because I have started relatively small there, my friend.
Absolutely, Joseph. All right, we are halted down over here on T TROO. But look what the tap is showing me, guys. So the halt level that we're halted at 189, we halted at 1135.30. It is 1139 and change right now. Let's find out. 1139.28. So the earliest we can open 1140.30. So 1140 and 30 seconds. So that is 50 seconds from now. Okay, that's the earliest we can open. It can come in waves of 5, as I've mentioned. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. The tap showing me 213. Oh, baby. So the market, or market participants, the traders, they're salivating at wanting to weasel into TROO over here because the buy-in balance coming in very much in favor of, oh, you mother. No, Joseph.
You did it.
697 high a day. I had it at 98. Come on, OC. Give me my print, baby. We got 58s on. Okay, so I'm going to pack my patience. Now, something tells me, 7 might be the top over here on OCC, and we could get stopped out. If that's the case, I'm going to be quite upset. But OCC possibly headed to the high side. All right. EOSE is open, and there it goes. I digressed, and I didn't punch long. Oh no, we're going to halt again. Yeah, it's easy to do the show and trade. Don't let anybody tell you different. So we're going to halt here at $2.25. If the halt parameter like this continues and there's no bamboozlement, if it's not a false halt, we are now halted. $2.25, 1140.54. So the earliest we can open is 1146 minus 6 seconds, 1145.54. So be on the lookout. TROO, it's all gas. It's no breaks right now. It's 246%. It's rivaling its sister over here, Square Foot, which is up 247%. So 246 for one, 247 for the other. We'll keep an eye out on this one. Let's see if it can continue moving up. So I'm keeping my eye on here on OCC as I'm looking at wetting the beak just in front of that $7 area. But I did get into a new trade that I didn't say anything about. EOSE has a seller of note here at around 10s. This one did come into 5 and hold 5 with some bottoming tail candles. So I said there were certainly buyers at 5. Could we possibly test that high day at 513? So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm keeping an eye out on that. Into 509 we goes. My first peak wetter is going to be 510, and then I'm layering my orders there. I'm talking about EOSE. It's not a big name. It's only 9 3/4 up on the day, but it's got a respectable looking chart pattern over here. So we'll see if we can take advantage of this one. I'm layered the orders, but we're certainly getting some selling here in the high single digits or at around 10. So that's all I'm looking at, guys. Those 3 stocks, I'm going to keep repeating them. I'm sorry if it's annoying to you, if you guys don't like them. TROO, OCC, and EOSE is what I'm focused on today, Joseph.
Yeah, good look there, brother. All right, guys, let's take a look at the SPY here because it is much stronger than what we're seeing displayed in the Nasdaq. And with that being said, we obviously have to take a look at what's performing the best from a sector standpoint, right? So we got the comm service doing relatively well, and then we have the financial sitting in second place here, up about 0.6, and then the real estate sector up about 0.4 there, guys. So some nice positive things helping move the SPY higher here, and that's exactly what we want to look at. With that being said, we'll take a look at the second strongest sector of the day, and that's XLF. So a nice opening drive, holding VWAP relatively well, and then you get that additional leg higher. Now let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily. Is it at all-time highs? No, but I wouldn't be surprised come Tuesday evening or Wednesday that we do hit all-time highs because we have a lot of names. Citigroup, I think, is tomorrow. JPM tomorrow. Who else do we got here? Let me pull up the earnings list. So yeah, so JPM, Citigroup, BlackRock, let's go, Wells Fargo. Those are some of the bigger ones, and then we have the Bank of New York as well too. But no one's really watching that one there. But we keep an eye on those things. And then later on in the week, Sharif, Wednesday morning before the opening, we have your good friend ASML there.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, bro. Yeah, I know. I'm making decisions right now because I don't know if you've looked at the price action on ASML. ASML is up in region local highs, and so I've been thinking about wetting the beak You know, we're breaking
lock
out
some
of
profits, lock some profits.
well, you can
in
see
there.
where we were before.
Yeah,
so
over here, right.
You can think about some of that P&L right there, right? And that's the thing, Joseph. Like, I'm concerned. Let me just tell you, because a lot of the rating agencies have been coming out and they've been saying, look, it's going to be light demand by a lot of these chip guys. Even though the Nvidias, everything is booming, they're not seeing the other areas, a non-related chip, a non-AI related chip demand booming, and they require a lot of that demand as well to kind of boom. So I am a little concerned about this one.
Fair enough. Nothing wrong with locking in some profits and then seeing what comes to that earnings report. I mean, if you lock some cash in and it happens to take a dump, it's all right. Whatever, you go flat on there. But if you get the pop, then boom, 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 you're laughing even more. So there it is on ASML, BAC on Wednesday morning, Goldman Sachs on Wednesday morning as well too. Johnson & Johnson and Morgan Stanley. So we're getting right into earnings season. And I love that, guys, because earnings season, my favorite season of all time, next to hockey season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow.
You're going to leave it like that.
Yeah, that's how it has to be, man.
Well, I respect that, bro.
But,
You're a hockey guy.
All season is every day of the year is hockey season.
I like it. I like it. It doesn't matter. You play hockey on the rink in the summer.
Yes,
so you can actually completely say that and be completely legitimate about it.
I had a nasty snipe yesterday, too.
You had a nasty snipe,
eh? Power down.
Oh, off the goalpost, off the crossbar?
Yeah, crossbar.
Hey,
crossbar,
those ones are the best. Nice, Joey.
All right, but yeah, that's what I got going on. Tesla still sucking relatively here, Sharif. That's okay. Sometimes it just sucks to suck.
All right, sorry, Elon.
Yeah.
Sometimes it sucks to suck. Shout out to Jeffrey, who has a beak. Right there. Look at that. Look at it. He's taking prints out of the garbage, which for whatever reason is wrapped in trading in paper there with trading candles on it. All right, here we go. EOSE coming into the highs, but we're gonna have to cover that one in a second because my other friend, oh my goodness gracious, EOSE is all gas, no brakes, 240 high. Zigging and zagging here, dropping back down into the halt level. This is my chance to punch in. We're going long. Anything below 220, we are gonzino. So let's see if it can continue up, or I'm going to flat. Oh, dang it. So we ended up taking a bit of a loss there. Okay, I was just too slow on that. Anything below 220, I should have been getting out, but it lost 220 quite quickly. So that, oh, wow, bamboozlement. Did you see that? Well, I had to flatten out there. There's no question that I had to do that. So we'll give back a little bit here on EOSE. Keeping my eye on it, though. If it wants to take out 240, I'm going to get back in. But that was quite ugly right there. It starts showing you a halt parameter at 210 and then rockets right back up into 230 and change. Something tells me it's going to break out again. So here we go. Let's get, I'm going to have to send it to you because I'm going to have to concentrate on this one. Joe?
Yes,
send it to you. I'm just going to concentrate on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, man. I was zoning out there Monday morning. Yeah, guys, so let's go. We're sitting on the backside of this trend. Possible indecision print on the lows on Bitcoin. But the thing is, guys, just keep in mind this downtrend is relatively weak. And I mentioned that we were probably going to fill the majority of this gap, and you can see that displayed. As soon as we breach some of these key pre-market lows, it's just, all right, do, all the way to the downside. So, yeah, I've seen someone in the chat, and I don't mean to call them out, but they're like, yeah, puts on Bitcoin. And that was last week. And I don't know how that's been working out. But anyways, NVDA is still holding up relatively well here, guys. Looking like it's putting that bear flag in and wants to crack some of these highs. So what are we going to do here? I think this is going to be really important. So let's pull it up and let's just focus on how we can base a trade on this. So the opening drive was relatively weak. Well, not relatively, it was extremely weak. For the first 15 minutes, you get that aggressive selling. You move about 3 points to the downside, closer to 4 points. So what are we going to do? You can see that we have a clear resistance zone right around 165.90. It's happened multiple times. NVDA on Friday session put in a base. That support now acting as resistance. Sorry, Adero, 1 second. But now, considering that we have a lot of open interest at 165, 137,000 open contracts, I'm going to be looking for any forms of indecision around that neck of the woods to see if we can get a potential short and a move back in towards the volume-weighted average price. That's just game planning. Plan the trade, trade the plan. Adero, what do you got for us?
So to let you guys know, this Q&A after the press conference here, or I guess this meeting between Donald Trump, president of the U.S., and NATO Secretary General Rutte, has ended. At the end, Trump did make some more comments here about Powell, saying, I guess, very much not a fan of Powell. He said he does not know what he's doing and that the tariffs are kicking in and the economy is strong. We still don't have any word on who Powell's replacement might be, though Kevin Hassett, who is the director of the National Economic Council, he did imply that the Fed would maybe be able to fire Powell for cause should that come up. That's been a new talking point there. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. There is also some talk Kevin Hassett could become the new Fed chair. And because he is the head of National Economic Council, I looked it up. And that is a little bit of pedigree for some past Fed chairs who were previously in that role before becoming the chair of the Federal Reserve. Back to you.
Sharif, brother.
Yes, sir.
So Bitcoin, I think this is going to be really important to know. Gaurav, I know Los Polios in the chat. You're going to be looking at these things, right? So if this hammer closes by the end of the day, if it stays relatively weak like this right now, then I'm just going to close a couple of my contracts because that will be a hefty move to the downside here, right? I'll be accepting of what I've gained on this, but that's a big time topping tail candle right there, right into 123.5, and you do have that big move right there. So anything below there, I'm just going to hop out on that and accept the profits from that trade. I will not allow that to go against me whatsoever.
All right, man. Good look. All right, let's talk about the good and the bad. The bad. Let's start with that. So it gave back a little bit here on TROO as it's halted to the downside. It's halted at 212. Look, I got this one wrong. I kept seeing that there was higher lows on the 5-second chart. So I was like, okay, maybe the buyers are stepping in. This is kind of what I'm seeing here. So that's your area low right there at 210. And then you had another area low at 212. So I was like, okay, there's a buyer here at 212 that's backstopping the selling, even though you definitely had an aggressive seller selling at lower levels on every single ascent. So let's just take that high of the day, 242, and then you had a high 235, and then it was 233, and then it was 229. So the aggressive selling here overdid certainly the aggressive buying, even though we still have that buyer picking this up at 212. So I'm going to be on the lookout here for possible another entry into this one quickly. This one, OCC coming back down into that $0.50 level. Let's see if this is the time to add at this level. Yeah, this is the volume weighted average price. Excellent. We only have one more beak wetter on this, so I definitely want to add over here, but I want to add in the right area. I want to add in the 30s, so we're going to go ahead and wait. I'm going to give it an opportunity to try to pick up some in the 30s. It's popping back into the 50s. This one's doing real well, though, and we have shares on this one as well. EOSE into 17 high. Let's wet the beak there at 15s. It did get into 17s, and I didn't have any orders layered above 14. Layer your orders, people. Don't be a schmuck like me. So now let's go ahead and wait 16, and we're going to wait at 18 as well. So EOSE, continue to put in higher highs and higher lows. Good look here for this one as it was a really clean defend of the $5 area. Let's go back over here now. OCC, this one's the one that's selling off, but it's still above VWAP. I'm waiting at 39s. It's showing me 40, so I'm waiting for the add on this one. It's got a 4-penny spread. There we go. Now we got the add. So it's going to have to hold the $0.25 or I'm out. Simple as that. That's where the volume weighted average price is. It was an aggressive sell off 697, now down into the 30s. So be on the lookout here for an aggressive seller of OCC, really bringing this one down a lot quicker than it was able to come up. So let's go ahead and throw the stop loss on that bad boy so we can limit any bleeding should this one continue to sell off. So now I'm going to layer my orders in the appropriate areas. Let's go ahead and take some profits off there as well. So wait and see if this one wants to catch a bid into the volume weighted average price. OCC, the one I'm talking about, what do we got on? We got 41s with that add at 38. Originally got in, obviously, at 57s. Took out the majority of the position, and then there's your first volume weighted average price retracement. But I got to tell you, this is the first time OCC loses the 10 exponential moving average, and the spread is opening up very wide now. 55s on the ask, 37 on the bid. It has not been that wide at all day, and I'm not getting printed. I'm waiting at 45s, and the print is going unfilled because the spread has really opened up. So be on the lookout here. OCC, spread opening up, usually that means liquidity is not what it was. So keeping an eye on this one, definitely looking at scalping if I'm able to. Back to EOSE. Still taking in some prints here, higher highs or higher lows, waiting for the next beak wetter at 16 and then 18. I see at square foot SQFT is starting to curl back up. So Bovin, what's your move on this one, brother? I know you've been holding this one since very, very low. It came in to that $17 area. I want to say there was certainly some selling there at 17s earlier on. So it kind of does make sense that it was an area of support. And it did halt at 17.50 exactly. So that seems to be holding up here, coming back into 20, but when you look at these area crests, it's still lower highs. So that double top that made 23, and then you have that 20 and a half, 20 and 2/3 area, and now we're kind of below 20. So even though we are curling back up off that 17 and change, we're still technically putting in a lower high. So I'm gonna keep my eye out on that. Yeah, so that's it. Let's see what we got. Okay, so we did get a print here on OCC. We got the 45s print, the 51 print there. Here comes 54 now on the ask, 45 on the bid, and we're not getting printed. So let's go ahead and wait as well. I'm going to wait at 61s. Okay, so now we get the print. Okay, good look. So the refill right now on OCC, profitable so far. So far, who knows if it continues to be that way. So we're going to wait at 69 as well, see if we can get that pop. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on now. And back to EOSE, as this one gives me 517 top and comes all the way back down to 510. I'm long 8s here. So what's the move? Is this a failed break? Do I flatten out here or do I add again at 5? So that's what I'm going to be looking at right now. I'm going to keep my eye on OCC and EOSE, Joseph.
Good look there, guys. All right, I'm thinking about getting short some NVDA up here. You can see that we're right at that 165 target that I was talking about earlier. We are kind of just trading range, but there is some support levels from the pre-market that we need to keep an eye out for, and then maybe we can reject it. But a slow grind. I know a lot of people are talking about AMD being advanced money duplicator today, so that's good, but you can see the selling pressure really starting to kick in and step in there as well, too. So right into those pre-market highs, so keep an eye out on that, and you have some potential shorting signals there as well too. I'm gonna actually start a really small position here on NVDA. Maybe we can get that move in towards the volume weighted average price, because Tesla is looking like it wants to crack that low, and then maybe if we get that shorts involved, then we can put on some nice trades here on the day for you guys. But there it is, Tesla heading lower and lower, just range bound, but now we're looking for that move towards the volume weighted average price on NVDA. So that one's working out a couple pennies ITM right off the get-go. So that's always a positive sign. As soon as you hop in, you get that flush to the downside. I think this is going to be a perfect level for us to keep an eye out for. That's 164.60. If that is breached, and then I think at some point we can head towards the volume weighted average price. Now, with that being said, smaller size allows me to have a much, much wider stop. So I'll give this one about 50 to 60 cents, which will put us right around this neck of the woods right here, guys. So well above some of these resistance zones. And if it decides to squeeze, good thing we start small, because that is the name of the game. And then once the thesis really starts to pan out, then you are cooking up. But you can just see how range-bound Tesla is. You continuously keep buying these dips. And I'm stuck in the middle of the range, right? I don't want to continuously add to a position that has a potential to curl over, and then I have more size than I want, and then it doesn't work out. I'd rather have more size in a trade that's working for me than just size into something that is just move eastbound right now, Sharif.
Look at, of course, CNN took the opportunity to troll Trump about the Chelsea thing. Chelsea players confused as Trump accompanies them for the World Cup trophy lift. Because he wants to. It's so funny. Oh my God. All right, OCC coming back down into the volume weighted average price again. We got 38s on. The spread's opening up here. So I'm unsure how to feel about this. We certainly have a buyer who's been picking it up off VWAP, but the seller seems stronger at the moment as we continue to get more red and blueprints on my time and sales than we do green and orange. And if you've been watching the show, you kind of know I use the time and sales there as kind of a color-coded representation of who's in control at any one moment of the stock, buyers or sellers. And right now, we're certainly feeling like we are selling some over here. So I took out a bit of the position as this one comes back down into the 30s. Again, anything below 620, and we're going to stop out. So we're risking about 18 pennies here on the remaining amount. EOSE, I'm back break even on this one, and I don't like the look of this one, but I'm going to leave my order at $5. And if we get buying at 5, like we did over here, essentially from 11.10 to 11.20, we had a very strict defend of 5. I'm gonna add at 5 again. So we'll see if this one works its way back down to 5, and if it does it give me an opportunity to add, because does it defend that $5 as strictly as it did last time? So that's my lookout right now. Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss of how to execute here on OCC because we're just at VWAP, so I won't take it out above VWAP, and I don't want to give it too tight of a stop below the volume weighted average price because it's spready, right? It's about 5-6 pennies at the time, at any one time. So if it does that, could cross and then stop me out, then head right back up again. So I'm trying to keep my eye on that one as well. Keeping an eye on TROO as this one is back down to the downside, halted at 198, showing me 192 taps. So at least for the moment, we're slated to open down. It halted 1156.32. So add 5 minutes on top of that. That'll be the earliest we can open. So I'm keeping an eye out on that as well. Oh, I think you got a super chat here.
Yeah.
Trexit Help Desk. Joe, what's up, bro? 10-year option trader, 2 5-figure days this year. I see a crazy sleeper, Oracle. We'll finish when we'll go to Adara and Neil as soon as we're done this super chat. $240 contract, 7.25.25. My entry is 119. 3-1 risk to reward ratio. Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah,
what do you think about that one?
Yeah, let's take a look at Oracle. And nice, I love hearing that, man. Multiple five-figure days. That's what it's all about, brother. And 10 years, that's definitely, you've earned it for sure. So you've been through the ups and downs of trading, especially to put on those types of days. But let's zoom out and see what we got going on from Oracle. All right, Oracle 240 contracts. All right, 7.25.25. My entry is $1.19. All right, so yeah, I mean, you're buying those out the monies. That looks pretty good. Let's see what they're valued out right now. Sorry, Adara, for keeping you guys waiting. Just give us one moment. We're going to take a look at some of these contracts. The August 25th. Okay, I don't have that. I have the 29th, so maybe you have a little bit of a spelling mistake there. So the 240s were $7.30 now, and you bought them at $1.19. So there you go. Nice work there, brother. Much appreciated for sharing that, and I hope those contracts continue to work out for you, Adara, and then Neil, guys.
Nasdaq super range bound, as you can see here, trading within these kind of highs and lows that we had as of yesterday Friday and Friday's pre-markets. Let's see if we're able to break out of this range. Interesting look. Here's the OSUR. This one just got moving a couple minutes ago. Still picking up in volume. Basically, I'm seeing on X, apparently there are some reports that the company received a takeover bid in June from an industry entrepreneur. CRCL having quite the day. This one bouncing really nicely. It's made about an $11, $12 move, and it looks like we're trying to break out here. Let's see what we do at that key $200 level. Fastenal on watch today as well. Earnings day one. Before we send you back, over to Neil and his listen of the day, we're going to take a moment to thank our friends at Top One Futures. Are you looking to trade futures like the Nasdaq, SPY, or even Bitcoin? Top One Futures is one of the fastest growing prop firms out there. They give traders the chance to manage up to $1 million in capital. Pick your path, instant funded, challenge, or pro account, and start trading your way to real payouts and even a live account. In the last 90 days alone, they've paid out over $10 million and earned over 1,000 five-star reviews from real traders. Use discount code TTV, that is TTV, to save on any account. Scan the QR code or head to top1futures.com and start trading towards your next payout. Without further ado, Neil and his lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
We could always just pick out support and resistance or buy zones and sell zones when, analyzing charts and doing that deep dive, and it's always fun to do. That said, sometimes finding where the buyers are or the sellers are is so unbelievably easy on the chart that you just start second guessing what you should do with that level. And I'm going to give you 2 examples of it, one of which I only think there's one play, and another of which I think there's multiple ways you can go about this. One of them we saw here on Google, Alphabet, everybody. Now, there was a lot of, a Christmas tree is a term that gets used a lot, like these breakouts at the open and came right back. Tesla was an example of one of those. And when Alphabet did that same move, it initially bounced just underneath 180 bucks. Okay, well, that's a pretty 183.5 all the way back in. It's got to bounce somewhere, right? It can't go down just forever on a move like this. Let's see what happened the second time. Oh, it bounced off 180 again here. And look at it hold for about 10, 15 minutes. And this is a situation where, well, you look at where it was at the close on Friday and in the afternoon on Friday, and then you see on all that reversal holding, okay, well, obviously there's something to be done with this level. Like, you can't really ignore that kind of price action. It's a support level. There's two ways you can play it. Obviously, a lot of traders can just say, well, I'll just go long a 180 and then give my stop to there. Okay, well, that would have been stopped out. On a stock like Apple, where it's not, and Google, where it's not holding exactly at that even dollar, it's kind of breaking it and then coming back and kind of breaking it and then coming back. I think the play is to allow it to break and then see what happens. After it breaks 180, it makes a strong attempt to close below and then doesn't make a fresh low. Well, there's your sign. Okay, it's trying to go. There's the biggest candle underneath it. It tries to hold underneath and immediately breaks back out above. After that confirmation, lo and behold, it's a long in front of 80 into the volume weighted average price. It requires some patience, all because Google's an $180 stock. It's not just going to sit there at the price level and I'm going to go long 180.01 and then we're just going to win. A little bit more nuanced price action. You know there's a buyer in there. You're willing to maybe take a breakdown short when it makes that low, but you got to find yourself a patient long opportunity. That being said, if you're watching the morning show, sometimes it should just be very, very simple what you want. Now, I don't remember, like, whatever. I actually flat out don't remember what the heck the story was with this SDST. A few people were mentioning it was running in the chat. I pulled it up. Like, the first thing that I observed, which I think was easy and obvious, is, oh, look what happens when it gets to 54 cents. It did a similar breakout and then pullback. I don't really care where the support is. There was resistance at 54 cents and 54 cents. And I'm looking at these wicks that are here, and some of them are breaking by 0.1% or just a little bit more than that. What's interesting to me and why I took the breakout long is after observing all these topping tail wicks, some of them dark pools, pulled up to level 2. There was 1.25 million shares on the offer on a single gateway at 54. Now, in this particular case, this isn't a, like, Google see what happens when it breaks it. No, you've got a monster seller holding a level which has shown you the sellers are in control with higher lows going into it. Not only higher lows, but like accelerating higher lows, like higher low, higher low, higher low, ooh, higher low, right into that break. It's everything that you would want in a breakout with a really easy tight stop. You're literally getting long the second it breaks that penny on the guy who's sitting there for like 1.2 million shares, whatever reason they want to show their whole order. And it's just a clean breakout trade. Now, that's the difference between a penny stock with a bunch of size on it and an alphabet, which is going to have the market makers playing a little more gamesmanship, and it won't be that clean. So the first step is to identify the buyers and the sellers, which is obvious. And the second one is to come up with a plan of action. In this particular case, the higher lows and all that size there kind of makes it an easy breakaway trade. Some people would go short in front. I prefer in a small capper like this to take a shot at the breakout trade. Or if you find something like an alphabet, be a little more nuanced about it. See what happens. Once it tries to break down underneath that seller, look at the reaction of the stock. Bought right back up, find support at 180, and you've got your patient long into VWAP. There's more than one way that you can skin a cat, for lack of a better term, but the first step is identify those obvious price levels where somebody's holding the bid or holding the offer, and then execute accordingly. It's going to be different from small cappers to big caps, and there's a plan of action and a way to be able to play both of them. There's your lesson of the day. Support and resistance, sometimes made easy.
I love it. Love it. You leave them hanging, Neil.
I love it. Yeah, all right, here we go, guys. Slowly starting to curl over as the market looks like it wants to take an additional leg higher here. So that is TSLL, and then you can see we're short some NVDA near the highs. So that really helps our risk to reward profile on this front. I don't know why it does that. Okay, there it is. So there it is. Short, add a little bit here. Again, just really, really small size to start off. If Tesla really starts to get going here, we'll be able to identify that through the volume profile. And then if we crack through VWAP, then it's just like, all right, all hands on deck. You just throw the kitchen sink at it, essentially, to see if you can get a move there. Because it hasn't been trading the best, in my opinion, as of late. So be patient on that one. Let's see if we can get short this market. Multiple tests of the specific 165 level on NVDA, so I'm looking for the rejection of that. But if Tesla wants to get the ball rolling, who knows? A rising tide can lift some of these ships, and AMD is definitely one of those hot ones today, Sharif. So a good look in some of the semi space. But those are the two trades that I got going on right now. Tesla, we've built in some, but we can obviously add some more. NVDA, we're relatively small, looking to add some more if we get the breakdown there, brother.
All right, give me a second.
Yeah, absolutely. So AMD, advanced money duplicator. Here it is, guys. Semi-space starting to turn it up over here. So that's a really good look. 162, 146.42 to be exact. Sorry about that one. And then you can see just from those April lows, this thing has just been on an absolute monster run, 89%. That is a big time move off of AMD, and considering the stock has been essentially in a downtrend from March of 24 and then doesn't crack it until May of 25. So like that's over a year of just like complete sell program stepping in on AMD. So I'm glad and I'm happy to see this thing step right back in and be a strong contender there.
Joseph, we're in BMGL, got in at the below the $0.50. Here it is again. We added through the break of the top. Watch out for this one. Boom! Oh my goodness, go BMGL, freaking go. Wow, we're going to hold to the high side over here. So initially in 45, scalped up, took more, added on the breakout. And
Sorry, I didn't mean.
Yo, I didn't know these small caps were that boring, bro.
No,
I thought
crazy.
they moved pretty quickly. How you gonna do me dirty like that? That was wow.
Crazy.
The disrespect was wild.
That's crazy. Yeah, that was crazy.
Okay. Yo, wow, Joseph, that's an all-timer right there. Clip that. Assassino. It's 12:10. Can we clip your boy Joey Options yawning to my trade over here? Because right now, I just got top wick on that. Joseph, I got top wick. Boom! To the high side. BMGL all the way down. Da-na, da-na. So this one really is giving up super quick. Be careful, BMGL. 326 volume weighted average price, a little bit below that 320, 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Look at this one go. The bamboozlement is real, it's fast, and it's furious. It'll knock your lights out, and your mom will not re-up your account, and she'll kick you out of the basement. So be careful with this one, guys. BMGL on the warpath to the downside right now, and it could find itself caught in a whole parameter quick as you like, so we're going to keep an eye out on that one, okay? I'm happy with how I scalped it, though, but we'll get back to that one in a second. I added here on OCC, we got 25s on. It's showing me 45s, so I'm going to keep my eye out on this one, looking for that $0.50 break and take. I'm going to scalp a little bit more here on OCC. I don't trust this one as much as I should, so we're going to take out here just right at the bid. So I'm going to keep my eye out on that, and then last but not least over here, EOSE. We're essentially break even on this one. I don't know how I feel about this one anymore. It's not breaking down, but it's not moving up. It's got like a 10, 20-minute almost consolidation. No, 20-minute consolidation, basically straddling 7s, 507 to the downside and 510 to the high side. I don't know how I feel about this one anymore. It's just too sideways. So I think I'm going to weasel out of this one if it drops anything below 505. So we got 8s on. I've scalped out the majority of the position. No, that's not accurate. I'm still holding about half the position. Okay, yeah. That was inaccurate statement on my part. So I think I'm going to give it to about 505, 504. I hate doing that because it's a random area. What the hell is 504 in the price action? It's just I don't want to give back anything on this. That's my thinking here. So we'll keep an eye out on that. And OCC is also having trouble with this level, so I should probably take more out of OCC at the level. EBB, ebb flow portfolio. Not sure about EOSE also. It's at 507 and just holding. Yeah, that's my thought exactly. Look, it's not giving up 5. I mean, look at the price action here at 5.2. There were bottoming tail candles strictly into that $5 area. So that to me yells somebody was buying this up at 5. Are they there again once if we come back down into 5? And if they are they going to have enough shares to hold this up to prevent the selling from dripping down below 5? So that's number one. Number two, do I add at $5? Are we going to Adara?
Yes,
I'm not
sir.
plugged in.
Whenever you're
I just heard her
ready.
ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of what I'm looking at there. quickly, before we go back to Adair, I want to mention TROO just came into VWAP at $1.75, and it's rocketing up back into $1.90, still south of $2. So be on the lookout for that. So that's what I'm looking at right now, these three stocks, guys. Did Donald say anything new, Adair?
There is a little bit of Donald-related or Donald-adjacent news, which we'll get to in a second. But first, I want to talk about DraftKings, DKNG on the move. Seeing a report here, apparently DraftKings is in acquisition talks with Railbird Exchange, that is an upstart prediction market platform that recently got a federal license. So keep an eye here in DKNG on the move. Again, this is not confirmed. It's just talks. Here's the other piece I really want to talk about. And this is, again, you can check out all these infographics on X at TTV Research. I bring up this one again. This is an older one about the potential Fed Reserve chairs candidates. But Kevin Hassett, as I mentioned about 10 minutes ago, he's becoming an increasingly likely contender to the point where Washington Post just released an article saying that apparently he's quickly rising in the ranks as potentially the next Fed chair. I gave this article a quick read. They talked to a couple different analysts, including a team from Evercore ISI, and they think that because Kevin Hassett is a unique blend of academic, he does have some experience, of course, in the economic field, and because he's close to President Trump, he actually is quickly emerging as maybe the top contender. The contenders still remain Kevin Hassett, Christopher Waller, we have Scott Bessent, and Kevin Warsh. Though, again, Kevin Hassett, when I first made this infographic, he was kind of a long shot. Now it seems like his potential is rising very quickly. And even yesterday, he did mention that the Trump administration could potentially fire Powell for cause. Back to you.
Wow, this guy's almost done. Like, yeah.
Well, he wants him out.
Yeah, he wants him out. It's that simple. Well, he wants to cut, obviously. That's what he's looking for. But yeah, guys, this is what we got going on right now, Sharif. We're still short NVDA. You can see that we're knocking on that 165 and a bit, and we're just continuously rejecting that level. One thing that is continuously tanking and is not a good sign whatsoever, that is Bitcoin. As we head in towards Friday's, or not Friday's, I guess Thursday's pre-market high there, or post-market, whatever it may be. I'd be looking for a bounce, and if we don't get a bounce there, then I would suspect that we get some more potential downside. And with that being said, I'll probably just sell a contract to just be safe and lock in some more there, just because. All right, so that's what we got going on with those two. NVDA starting to slowly work for us here, Sharif. I'm going to add a little bit to this position here, brother.
Well, that makes sense, Joseph. All right, I'm considering whether to get back into BMGL over here, guys, because I'm watching the 5 and it's putting in higher lows. It seems to have a buyer here. There does seem to be support at 40 pennies, $3.40. We're at the $0.50 right now. We're kind of above it, kind of at it. So I'm kind of a little hesitant. Here comes that 40 penny area. Now, what I'm going to be watching is, do we hold 340? Because my thesis is that there is a buyer here at 40 pennies. Whether or not that's accurate or not will get proven if we come down into that level. Now, I could get in here and then put my stop below 340. Yeah, we could do that. That's not really my move. I'd like to be able to take the breakout if we're able to. So here we go. We're above 50 right now. Wow, looks like we're headed back to the high side over here. So let's go ahead and weasel back in for a nice little scalp trade. And there it is again, Joseph, to the high side. BMGL is all gas, no brakes. Watch for now the 70 penny area. I'm going to say 70 pennies is going to be a key area of resistance. Here we go. 64s is taking out all my orders. Watch out for 70, though. I see 70 on the 5-second chart as a level of resistance. We've got 54s on, so I'm going to wait at 69 over here. Let's see if we can get that print at 69. Then I'm going to keep a beak wetter above that. Anything below my entry level, I'm Gonzino. I just canceled my order at 69 there. I do apologize. Anything below my area entry at 54, I'm done. I won't let this go against me, but there is a seller now at 64 that we can't shake. So all of a sudden, this is very characteristic to be MGL. It comes into an area and it almost looks like it's halting, like it stalls. So kind of unsure why this one's acting like that. It's done it several times. Let's go ahead and throw my order there for the remaining amount. Back up into 64, and there it is, another high of day, or another high of day, local area high at 68. How many shares do we have over here? So we have to pack our patience. Back into 68 again. I'm waiting at 69. That seller at 70 is not moving right now, and so we will come back down. Should have been taking it out at 68 there. So we'll get stopped out, break even on the remaining amount, Jeff.
Good look there, guys. All right, savvy Canadian traders looking to boost their exposure can now tap into the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500 with Beta Pro 3X daily leveraged ETFs featuring built-in FX hedging. This aims to amplify short-term market moves, minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, these ETFs are built to active day traders ready to take on the market. Read the full disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca before investing there, guys. All right, so just keep that in mind before you get involved and make sure you do a little bit of due diligence. And here it goes. I added to this move on NVDA, and now we're starting to squeeze a little bit higher. With that being said, what do you do when you add? You obviously have a little bit of a tighter stop. So instead of me giving it into 60s, I now have to only give this until 40s. So let's see if that works out. If not, then we'll just take the loss on that one. We're still sitting in this grind that is Tesla. It doesn't want, grinding. So yeah, what was it?
Who's that again, though?
Pharrell.
Pharrell, that's right.
For real, my friend, for real. Yeah. So this is a brutal consolidation to be sitting in. Just talk about a name not necessarily being in play, and that's Tesla. I think at some point it will start to pick up momentum and steam once again, but today is not that day, and I'm not going to write it off just yet. Still plenty of time left within the session. But from what we're seeing displayed, I would suspect that considering we can't even get to the volume-weighted average price, there is not much of a buy program that is looking to step in on Tesla. So if we crack through some of those support levels, adios muchachos, we get out of Dodge, and then we look for that next potential setup. I have the 30-minute up here on Bitcoin, and you can see it's just continued a couple hours here now of just consecutive selling. And if we zoom in and see what we got going on from a 5-minute chart, oh, okay, that's not too bad right there, Gorv. That's not too bad. Hopefully we get a bounce off of this. But if it does break through this candle right here, and you can see that that outline volume print, then I would just suspect that we're going to head into 67.50s, et cetera, and into the Friday zones. But it was a really nice look going during the weekend, I guess, up into 123.5. I was looking for more 125, but that's okay. You got to take what the market gives you, and what the market isn't giving me right now, Shreve, is any form of a move on Tesla. And then here it goes. We're long Tesla. It's selling off, and then we're short NVDA, and it's starting to rip a little bit higher. So those are always good times there, my friend.
All right, man. Adara, you got a comment here from Marion Buford in the chat. Does Adara even trade anymore? I haven't been here for a while, but I did notice Crapstock asked a sensible question about small caps, and Sharif preferred protein talk. Come on, man. I probably didn't see the question there. Yes, Adara does trade. She's at the big desk. And when she reports on some of her little segments there, she does sometimes show us her trades, so be on the lookout for that. Yes, so to answer your question in a very long way, yes. And I think, Adara, if you want to chime in and let everybody know what you've been trading these days, I don't want to talk on your behalf. Is she there? Oh, she's eating. Okay, so we'll just let her do her thing. So keep your eye out on that. Oh, BMGL is headed right back up to the upside. Here we go, guys. Watch out there, 386 high. BMGL, I think it does have some selling, though, in the 80s, but it's taken out that 70 seller that we had earlier. Now at 77s it goes. The high of the day is 86, so keep your eye out on that. BMGL could easily be at $4 in a matter of seconds. 77s, 78s now. There's a seller there. What I'm looking at is my top screen where the 5-minute chart is. Up into 80 we go. Okay, local highs, 85s now. BMGL is going to take out the high of the day. 386 is the high, so be on the lookout for a rejection at the high of the day, and then a possible move back up. So obviously when we come into the high of the day, there's people short selling as well as profit taking, so it makes absolute sense that we reject that initial area high and then maybe clear it after that. So on the lookout here for BMGL to take out levels. Also keeping my eye on OCC. Wow, okay, 25 pennies in the money on this one on the reload. So happy with this one as we take out that 50 penny order. Now I'm waiting at 61, so I'm going to keep my eye out on that. EOSE kind of doing absolutely nothing over here. So what do you got over there?
Yeah, same thing, guys. Hood putting in a double bottom of the day. Yeah, that was a nice one earlier in the session, trading up to that $100 mark and holding it relatively well. But then ARAM says analysis on ONDS and Circle. Yeah, for sure. Let's take a look at ONDS and Circle. ONDS. Wow. Oh, on DAS holdings. Very interesting. On DAS. Ondas Holdings. Are you familiar with it? I don't know. But here you go. Nice support level here. You mentioned puts. You're looking. I don't even know if this name's optionable. We can take a look at that momentarily. But I mean, a nice move off of these lows from 71 cents up to 242, putting that high. So puts, maybe wait until this candle print finishes. If you see anything along the lines of this hammer, you can see you get a nice couple cent move there, only 25 cents or so. But I mean, it's something, and if you load up the shares, then you can take that, no questioning, and then you're starting to punch through some key resistance zones. But just wait for this print to close to see if you're going to get involved in some puts personally, right? But if you're looking to get involved, then by all means, just plan out your trade and then trade the plan. Whether it works or not, that is up to the trading gods themselves. All right, so, and then circle one more. Yeah, we'll take a look at CRCL. We know what's been going on with the likes of stable coins.
Do they have any names? The trading gods?
The trading gods? Oh, that's a good. What should we name them?
I don't know. I'm not naming them anything.
You're not naming them. That's a good thing. Maybe I'll think. Maybe we'll ask ChatGPT to give us some Greek like trading god names.
That would be so jokes. Yeah. All right, let's do this. With Trade the Pool's swing trade programs, you can get access to about $40,000 in buying power to trade real shares, guys, not these CFDs. You can hold positions overnight, over the weekend, and enjoy limited risk. Thanks to a one-time evaluation fee, no monthly payments, no hidden costs. Take Vincent J, for example, one of Trade the Pool's swing traders. This dude's already locked in $23,082 in profit. That's money right there. His top performer, NMAX. NMAX. He shorted it from April 20th to May 30th. That's a long trade. And pulled in $6,777 gain. What a trade. Trade the Pool is giving swing traders the tools, the time, and the capital to thrive. So scan that QR code and enjoy 10% off. Great program by Trade the Pool. We always hear about swing traders, you know, with a bit of a higher success rate these days as a result, you know, of these market moves, you know, being very directional, and your boy Joey Options hitting the bang button because he's been printing up several storms in his personal account on swing trading. But not everybody's got a juiced up personal account with which to use for swing trading. So if you're into that kind of thing and you want to swing trade, head over to Trade the Pool, give them a look, and you might be pleasantly surprised, Joey. So yeah, shout out swing traders, right?
Yeah, no, seriously, yeah, I'm loving it. I've been utilizing it quite a bit. And to be honest with you, Shreve, it's not like I'll go a month or two. Sometimes I won't even have a position, right? But then when the position starts to work out, then I just try to make it as big and profitable as possible. But yeah, I sit on my hands. Like, you got to think, I've been in NVDA since the crack of the downtrend here, and that's just not too far from the Liberation Day lows, right? So we'll pull this up. So I've been sitting in this from a daily as soon as it cracked right around here. So that's from May. I've just been sitting in that swing trade. Google, same thing. Not as long, but sometimes you just allow them to work out. So from late June, right? So this is when I first started grabbing some Google, and then IBIT was most recent, is when we started grabbing it up in this neck of the woods as soon as that cracked up. But again, I'll sit on them until otherwise, right? Until the market says, hey, Joe, it's time to get out. We're overbought, we're overextended. And then I go, and then I get out because it's bullish and bearish, as is the trading gods' names, apparently, to everyone in the chat. So bullish and bearish.
What? Yeah, I was like, why is he saying bullish and bearish like that?
Bullish and bearish.
What's happening over here?
God names there.
All right, but I feel you.
Guys, we're getting another knock on this door at 165.20. No one's answering it here, Shreve. So I think we're gonna. You know what, guys? That's the thing, right? That's the thing, right? YOLO. You only live once, so we'll do it one more time. We'll add to this position. It's funny to how my shorts here on NVDA are looking, and then my longs as well, too. So we're just getting those continuous adds to see if we get the breakup and the breakdown. I truly don't like doing this, long one tech name, short the other. But it is what it is, and we're going to have a little bit of fun with it there, for sure.
All right, guys, $4 high day right now on BMGL. I'm back long 87s. I'm going to flatten out here, and then I'll get back in if it's warranted. So we take out basically 99s. That's the high of the day. So I'm going to continue to scalp BMGL here. It's up 75%. This is looking like the best name in the market right now. Well, in the small cap gapper world. I don't want to say the entire market. Who knows? I'm not even looking at the entire market. So it's a $4 high. And it's been, just a plethora of higher lows and higher highs because we've been putting higher highs as well. This current candle did form the high of the day at $4. So this one is on the warpath to the high side. I don't really have much information on it. Give me an opportunity now, and I will tell you as things slow down here a little bit. So here comes the high day again. We're showing 98s, guys. Watch out for the $4 break. Here is 99s. Here's 4. 4 sellers getting killed. But for the moment right now, he's defending that level. I feel like it's just a matter of time until that short seller at 4 gets absolutely decimated, but we'll see what happens. So we're back at 4 over here. So there you go. He just absolutely got creamed, and it is now a 412 high. I don't have the short float on it, sadly, but I do have the float. It's telling me 5.72 million shares. Let me just compare that quickly to my platform over here, see if they jive. I'm talking about BMGL, guys. I'm seeing a float on my platform of 2.2. This one's telling me 5.72. So split the difference, okay? Anyway, 415 high, 420 high. This is really going now, 423 high. BMGL is on the move up. Yeah, so obviously I took it out a little too early, true to form, but we'll look to improve a little bit more now. If it comes back into 4, that could be a buying area here. The 10 exponential, well below $4 at 350. VWAP as well below that whole dollar at around 357. This one's all gas, no brakes right now. 436 high right now on BMGL. Big move up. Keep your eye on this one. OCC, I just want to get back into that one real quick. Took the $0.50 there. Anything below the $0.25, I'm going to stop out because this one's been straddling VWAP, but I have a feeling, it could give it up. So if that happens, we'll be gone on that one. It's showing me 36. Anything below the $0.25, gone. And then last but not least, EOSE. I'm not going to reload here. I'll put a dip trade at around 5.02 just because that area is defending quite well, but I'm getting a little bit, I don't want to say frustrated with these ones because we're in the money on them. Well, OCC anyway, EOSE, we're flat. But, it's just occupying a lot of my mental capacity right now, and I could be focusing on other more profitable names. For example, BMGL, off the high of the day. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on. 420 Bud Monster. You like that 420 high, huh? It was quite fleeting, though, Mr. Bud Monster, because now it's a 436 high. But I know that you were happy to hear it. And there it goes again, Joseph. It is a 440 high. BMGL's taking out levels. Keep your eye out on BMGL. So I've got the 5-second chart up, guys, and you can see even on the 5-second, you can kind of try to pick up on these patterns over here of higher lows. And if that's what you're seeing, then, there's a good chance that you do have a buying tailwind behind you, right? But when you're seeing stuff like this, watch. How many times did we defend 423? So if we give up 423 here, then that should be an alert for you, right? I'm not saying it's the end of the trade, but be on the alert. If you lose that 423 level that a buyer has been stepping in essentially now for 2 minutes and all of a sudden they're gone, well, they're probably going to be gone for a while. Maybe you should be setting up possibly closer to 4. So that's what I've been using lately to kind of spot the areas of support and resistance using the 5-second chart. You can do it on Bookmap. If you've got a really good memory and you remember where everything holds up, you can use the level 2. It's just on the 5-second chart, it's an easier visual representation of that, Joe.
Good luck. Neil, I need you to hit the, can you hit the weed Batman for me?
If you run out of the high, you
there you go, 420 Bud Monster. That is your call right there. One more time, Neil, for the people in the chat, 420 Bud Monster and
Get it,
Batman.
Joe.
Oh no, he's not listening. He's focused now. We got the one Wee Batman, but that is your
man.
Yeah. Hey, oh, what is that from?
Stop hollering at me, man.
Oh,
Neil, where's that from?
What is that, man?
I'm focused, man.
Focus, man.
It's from Jay-Z. No, stop hollering at me, man. That's Jay-Z? That's Jay-Z.
Maybe not. All right, anyways, we'll figure
Are
it out.
you
Sorry,
challenging Neil? Because he said it's Jay-Z. Bro.
I wasn't challenging him.
Challenge.
Oh, challenge. All right, yeah, here it is, guys. We're starting to break through some of these support levels on NVDA. Do we add a little bit more? Maybe, possibly. Okay. I'm thinking about it just because that is how I am feeling today. But it is, we're continuously buying up. You can see the SPY kind of selling off here. NVDA isn't participating. Qs are kind of stuck in limbo. You can see we're hovering around that 556 high. Before we send it off to Adara momentarily, I want to take a look at the Qs options chain to see what we got going on for a possible range here.
What's going on over
the intraday session there, Shreve, to see where is the options market telling us and pricing things in. So where do we got that high of the day, 556? What's going on there? 4,000 contracts, nothing substantial. This is 0 DTE. Joseph, get your stuff together. When is this week end? On the 18th, 4 days from now. Okay, so nothing crazy. 560 may be in the works for this week. As you can see, that we have 24,500 open contracts at 560. So maybe we get that magnet effect. Adara, what do you got for us?
Keep an eye here on DraftKings. I mentioned this story earlier, but it looks like it got a little bit of a belated pop as outlets or accounts here on X continue to circulate the story. Basically, DraftKings reportedly in talks to buy Railbird Exchange, according to a report from Front Office Sports. Apparently, this is actually a federally licensed prediction market platform. That's Railbird Exchange. According to the report from Front Office Sports, they have not actually reached a deal. They're still in talks. Nothing's finalized, and we don't have any financial turns. But it's also worth noting this comes after DraftKings previously pulled their own application to run a prediction market, saying they're still evaluating the space. Looks like they might be evaluating it with Railbird Exchange. Also, this is awesome. As we speak, we get the opening horn. Seems like President Donald Trump might be entering this White House-based office luncheon. We are hearing the announcement right now. Prior to that, it was people eating lunch. So we're going to have to see if Donald Trump adds some excitement to these proceedings. And back to you.
You asked for the horn, you got a siren. All right, so keep your eye out, guys, on BMGL, excuse me, because it's coming back down into prior bar low. I'm not going to be jumping into this one. I'd rather for it to have a bit of a deeper retracement, maybe into the volume weighted average price, give or take. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. Separately, I did flatten out on OCC. As this one came back into my entry again, I said to anything below my entry, we're going to flatten out, break even on this one. But it does seem like you still have buying here. Holy cows on BMGL, man. 440 high, it dips into 385 momentarily. It is still technically putting in a lower high, and this is kind of what I'm seeing here on the 5 seconds. So if you're kind of looking at this, 440 high, and then here we reject 428. So yeah, that 4 area defended quite well, but I don't think this is a setup for me right now. This is the bull flag. And if it's going to be the bull flag, then I want to pick it up in the 90s or the 80s. And if I don't get it there, I don't get it there. But this one does look like it's going to take out levels. Like, let's see, the prior area was 428. Here comes 427 again. 5. Can we print anything above that 8 area? Yeah, so we're still selling off at 430. So I saw a whole bunch of selling at 4 low 30. So the topping tails do go into 440. But there was certainly some selling around that 430 area. If we get above 430, guys, we could probably squeeze into the 440. I'm going to keep my eye out on that one. If we can break 430, I might go along Adair.
Keep an eye here on FCX. That's Freeport McMoran. We just had a post coming here. Of course, they work in copper. We have Doug Burgum here, who's the Secretary of Interior, just posting on X that copper is critical, listing the number of things that they actually need it for in the U.S. So because of that, apparently the Department of Interior is going to be onshoring their supply chains by fast-tracking mining permits. So keep an eye here on FCX, a copper name actually pushing a little bit lower on this. But either way, on watch, Donald Trump just started his speech at the White House luncheon with regards to faith. He's not saying anything super noteworthy right now, but if that changes, I will let you guys know post-haste. Back to you.
All right, scalped here for not that much, guys. 10 pennies on BMGL as I punched in a little late. Through that third of a dollar, we'll scalp up into 42s. So we'll take the high of the day out. Now, watch out for the higher lows here. So what I'm seeing is respect generally for the higher lows. If you base your area low at 385, we have another area low 414, then 420, and now it's currently 428. So be on the lookout for the higher lows. Here we go again. That's another high a day at 445. So this one's not giving it up right now, guys. BMGL is the one I'm talking about. It's a 445 high. As we get into that whole dollar, or sorry, half dollar area, just if you look at it on a lower time frame and be on the lookout for the higher lows. Are the buyers stepping up at higher and higher price ranges on every successive trough, on every successive pullback. Is it higher than its predecessor? If it is, you have a good chance that it continues. It's not a hard and fast rule. There's always bamboozlement in trading, but it just helps put the odds on your side. What I'm staring at, sorry, I'm looking at the top screen. I'm looking at the 5-second chart. I'm trying to gauge areas of support and resistance. I see an area of support at 428. If 428 gives it up, this could retrace a little bit more aggressively. But right now, you are getting a 428 defend. So I'm going long again over here, Joey, and we're going to look to scalp a little bit. Anything below 425, we're gonzino on this one, okay? So we're going to give it a couple of pennies there to give it a little bit of room. But what I'm looking for ideally is a 28 hold, knowing full well we're getting some selling in this level. And there it goes again through the high side. It pops up into 435, but it's not all gas quite yet. Seller at 45. Boom, again into 40s. Let's keep an eye out on this one. It's holding 40 for now, but for how long, Joey?
Good look there. All right, guys. So you can see that NVDA is starting to work out relatively well for us. There was another ad opportunity, but that's okay. We'll take that. And then also, Tesla is starting to finally work out for us as well. I'm going to take the majority of it off. Actually, I've just lied to you guys. I'm not going to take the majority of it off at VWAP, especially if we break it. I will take some off, though, just to lock in some profits. And if it comes back break even, you can see that we are most definitely range bound. But NVDA off of these highs, if I was, like, see, that's the thing, right? Actually, I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot here, but this is where you really, really want to get in. And I know Neil and Sean are really good at getting in at the top of the range, opposed to me at the lower end looking for the immediate breakdown or in the middle of the range. That just vastly increases your risk to reward, right? Like you're 20 cents above where your entries are if you are buying at the top end of this there. So that's starting to work out for us. Wait for that slow curl over. As long as that volume profile stays relatively cool, then I think we'll be all right. Tesla's still cooking up for us. As soon as we get back, ARAM, we're going to go over some circle puts for you. We'll take a look at them anyways. But Adara, what do you got for us?
Keep an eye on Kraft Heinz here, KHC, in case you missed it. Last week, there were some breakup rumors related to the stock. Now, CNBC reporting that Berkshire Hathaway is heavily speculated to be potentially selling its stake. I looked into this as of about a month ago. Berkshire Hathaway had a 27.5% stake in KHC, so pretty significant. Unclear if they are going to sell the stake. It looks like this is just speculation, but either way, keep an eye on KHC. Also, Donald Trump talking again here about tariffs. He's saying, I don't know why people keep going, oh, why are we not making deals? And I'm doing his imitation. He actually did the voice as well. And he said, we are making deals. The trade letters are the deals. Then he joked to U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who I guess is in the audience, make any deals today, Scott? So some tariff deals, I guess, being hinted at or touted by President Donald Trump. Unclear which countries. He said also that that they're still willing to talk on tariffs and that, quote, I go on TV and rile the market. Back to you.
Don't be rude.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't hear it. Which one you hit there?
Don't be rude.
Yeah, oh, don't be rude. Yeah, don't be rude. Circle for my guy ARAM or him. Or, sorry, I don't know.
ARAM?
No, ARAM.
Oh, well, yeah, because
ARAM's
not here. That's normal.
Bang, bang, bang. There it is, guys. I wouldn't be buying any puts right now just yet on this name, considering the move that it's been on. And you don't know necessarily what's, obviously, if we did know, we would make a lot of money. But you can see that we go up 350% there. Yeah, I'm really rich. So there it is, 216. If you are looking to short that, it's most definitely up all the way up here. Or if you break this and you can see that the price action looks relatively bearish, then just play that. You can play that, but obviously you're using puts. So just make sure you have your stops in place or you're willing to lose the complete amount of the value of that contract. But we're starting to get a little bit of a squeeze back here now on NVDA. My target's going to be VWAP. So what's the next thing? What is the next goal that we're looking for? Is for NVDA to construct a lower high. If it does, if we have the inability to breach this resistance zone and we construct that lower high, there's going to be another ad opportunity for the break of this specific 164.60 level, and then you look for that move right into that 164.10, which is right at the volume weighted average price. But Tesla's starting to work for us really, really well, and we want to continue to sit in this until we break through the volume weighted average price, and then hopefully we can get a move towards the high of the day. But you can see it's been nothing short of a grind sideways on that one there, Sharif.
All right, I'm just trying to, because ASML is up into like an area where I haven't seen it in a long time, so I'm thinking about punching into the live account and getting some out. But I pulled up this article, Assassino. It says lithography remains a critical constraint for China, says DC think tank.
China.
And so one of the possible headwinds, in my opinion, for ASML is a Chinese competitor emerging, which we know is probably in the works. Whether it's going to be Huawei or SMIC, it could be others, obviously. This is kind of my concern. That's one of the headwinds. The other headwind is there's just not enough demand because there's not going to be as much chip supply demand that are non-AI related. So this DC think tank said that lithography continues to control the market in China. Shanghai, again, SMIC, Shanghai Microelectric Equipment, or SMEE, has so far only reached 4% market share in I-line lithography tools, which are used for legacy chip fabrication. Dutch company ASML has not been able to sell its state-of-the-art extreme ultraviolet systems to China due to U.S.-led export curbs. The CSCT said Chinese semiconductor manufacturing equipment, or SME companies, are gaining market share in several technologies, consequently eroding foreign incumbents' market share. So I'll continue to read a little bit of this. So I'm thinking about just weaseling in there, dude, and at least taking out half the position over here. I think that would be a prudent thing to do. PMAX says ASML is years ahead of the competition. They won't be caught. I know, brother, like that's what's being reported, but do you feel comfortable in operating in that way? I kind of don't, because like Joseph and I always talk about, you know, necessity being the mother of all invention. And if you're going to cut off the Chinese, they're just going to figure out a way to do it. And that's just my concern. And if they figure out a way to do it, they're going to do like what they did with the EVs and undercut everybody. And all of a sudden ASML is not a $300 billion company, it's a $150 billion company. So I am kind of concerned about that. It's not going to happen overnight, obviously, but you know the market's not going to wait till that happens. Market's forward-looking and discounts almost immediately. So what do you guys think about the state of advanced chip fabrications, like the ultraviolet lithography machines? Do you guys think that that's a disruptable technology within the next year or two, or is that just kind of, don't worry too much about it once we get something out of China? I'm sure the market will have a way of pricing that in. Let me know what you guys think there in the chat, because I don't know, Joseph. It's one of those ones where I just don't know enough of the technology to feel comfortable going one way or another. PMAC goes, Joseph Carlson has a great video about this. They are doing things that no one else even understands right now, says PMAC. It's kind of how I get the feeling, man. On Uber, China does not have a strong R&D culture. Really? I'm going to disagree with that. And I'm going to say why I disagree with it, which is because you had this huge manufacturing push away from North America because, well, in North America and the West in general, because they kind of felt that we were kind of beyond manufacturing. We have now graduated to the design. Let's outsource the manufacturing to lesser or to less expensive jurisdictions. What they didn't realize, though, was that there was a marked overlap between manufacturing and design. And when you don't design things, you start lacking the capacity, or the manufacture things, you start lacking the capacity to design them as efficiently as possible. So I don't agree with you on that. And anybody can just look at the EV sector and compare the Chinese EVs to the clown cars that we have here in North America. There's no comparison, man. Those EVs make North American cars look like an absolute joke. The only reason we don't see them is because there's 100% tariffs on that. And ask why there's 100% tariffs on them, because they're scared to hell of these things absolutely bankrupting their companies. You have Jim Farley, is his name Jim Farley, the Ford CEO, basically saying that he loses sleep overnight over this. And I just watched him on a podcast the other day. We already know he was driving the Xiaomi SU7. That's not really what I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to get at is he has umpteen amount of respect for these Chinese EV manufacturers. So I wouldn't go so far as to say they don't have a good R&D culture. I tend to disagree with that, Adara.
Here is the market. I just want to let you guys know Donald Trump did just kind of hint here that there will be more tariffs, saying they've, quote, only begun or barely begun with tariffs, only cars and steel. We know previously the Trump administration and Trump himself have hinted at tariffs on semiconductors and pharmaceuticals, even a 200% pharmaceutical tariff, though none of these have been specified. He also made more comments about Powell here as well, calling him a knucklehead, quote unquote, and a quote unquote stupid guy. Back to you.
Those are some kind words from our good friend Donald there towards his other good friend, Mr. Jerome Powell. So you can see that those guys have a nice and healthy relationship.
Don't be rude.
That's exactly what you want. So NVDA, we're still waiting for this, guys. You can see that we did establish that lower high, but we're also forming these higher lows as well. So once we ran into this support level, we couldn't break that, and now we're starting to curl over. I think we got to zoom out a little bit on this one and not micromanage on the 1 minute. I usually do tend to switch over time frames as we get later on in the session. So you can see this is where I've now built the bulk of my position, and then now looking for that move back towards the volume weighted average price. Why? Because you got to look at the opening drives, right? The first 5 minutes, extremely weak. You get that breath, and then you take that move continuously down and you sell for the first 15 minutes. And then now, to me, this is more or less just a cover rally, right? You can see that the volume really started to cool off. And then there is some large prints here, but for the most part of it, I do believe, considering we do have that 165 call wall, unless we get a massive volatility spike, we will at some point reject this level, and that's exactly what we're looking for, is a VWAP, but we might not even at the same time, right? You got to think about how strong this name has been over the past little while, and the fact that we're trading all the way up to 164 from like the 80s in Liberation Day is absolutely insane. So NVDA has been putting on some monster stuff, and it's definitely tougher to short some of these strong names, but I just had some conviction within. I'm trying to build a nice steady playbook where I collect enough data, forward testing, just using the options chain and then basing that off of intraday trades. And it's worked multiple times, but again, you can't have a sample set of 20, 30 trades. I believe it needs to be significantly larger, and that's what we're trying to establish here, Sharif, with NVDA. No, I'm not sending to you. I'm just saying, yeah, what I'm getting at here is that I'm just trying to build something to see in the long run if there is the ability to construct a continuous and a repeatable playbook off of these high levels of open interest, all right? So that's what we got going on. So it's just a slow grind here. We're slightly ITM on this one. You can see 192, so about 10 cents or 11 cents or so. And then TSLL is still slowly cooking up for us there, Sharif.
All right, I'm done selling some.
Ooh.
So I took out, not half, I took about 35% of the position of my ASML. Look, I had to here because going into earnings, and I've been holding this for a long time, and you know, you want to lock in some profits. There's nothing wrong with that. So out of a little bit of the ASML position, we'll continue to hold, see maybe we can get it back into those all-time highs. I think we got to like break 1,200 or 1,300 or something like that in order to do that. So that's still a ways away, but you just got to lock in some profits, baby. That's all I want to say there. Let me know, Assassino. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, VinFast is ramping up its India expansion, partnering with 13 major dealer groups to open 32 dealerships across 27 cities, including Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Kolkata. The Vietnamese EV maker is building a strong sales service and spare parts network ahead of the July 15th pre-booking launch for its VF6 and VF7 electric SUVs. They're targeting 35 dealerships by year end, with a CKD facility set to open up later this month in India. VinFast trades under the ticker VFS on the Nasdaq. Guys.
Yep.
All right, Marty, dropping some cash in the chat, baby. I like to see that.
I'm really rich.
I've done a lot of business in China. They rarely lead in innovation, but they excel in taking innovation and making it better. Their forced IP shares get them the core tech, and then they inevitably make it better. Thanks, Marty, for your opinion, and thank you for the $20 super chat there. Very nice of you, and thank you for chiming in on that. I absolutely respect what you have to say, and obviously you've got some experience there. Nothing beats experience, so thank you for letting us know exactly kind of how things operate in China and how you perceive things. just what I would, again, I want to go back to kind of my thinking there. I don't see deceleration in the ambitions of that country, right? If anything, I see more ambition by the government, especially to want to stimulate. And if you've got that kind of system, I think that, you know, they do overcome some technical hurdles, at least in the short term. Whether or not they're able to monetize that in a way that maybe ASML or others, not just ASML, and other technologies that they don't currently have. You know that they have obviously been trying to catch up with Taiwan Semi. They're very behind in advanced chip manufacturing. Like we got the Huawei Mate Pro last year, and that had a 5 nanometer chip, and everybody threw up their hands up in the air. Like, how the hell did they make this 5 nanometer chip? But we're like, you've got Intel, you know, Intel behind as they are talking about 2 nanometers. So I don't know. I feel like, again, necessity, the mother of all invention. And if you force them into a corner, they're going to figure it out. They're just too skilled not to. That's just my opinion, but you clearly have experience that I don't have, so I respect what you got to say. Can says Auto Antics, C-A-N. Let's have a look at that before we weasel in to the news over here, Joseph. So C-A-N, have a look there. What is this, Kanan? All right, a bit of a, yeah, no good here. So I started trading this one. This is one of my losers today. Yeah, so this one lost that 98 penny area. It came back. It's straddling VWAP from the south side. That's not what I want to see, right? I want to see using VWAP from the north side. So that way it's not sellers shorting when this one pops into VWAP, but buyers buying when it pulls back into VWAP. So unless it gets above, I want to say 92, 93 pennies, I'm going to steer clear of this. Again, that 98 penny also is a bit of a top, so close to that dollar. So you're getting that 98 penny or 99 penny essentially, because 98.8 area resistance, and above that you're looking at the dollar area as another psychological area of support. So yeah, I'm going to steer clear on this one. JAG, China has a bigger problem attracting talent from the West. People from other countries go to Western countries, predominantly US colleges, for R&D, but that is changing now. Yeah, but I don't know if you've noticed, a lot of them go back to their countries. And they kind of learn a lot here, and then they go back there. Sure, some people end up in Silicon Valley. Absolutely, they get offered visas to stay. No question about that. Hey, brother, all I can say is, you know, just do some very basic research about Chinese electric vehicles. See what North American car review experts are saying about these Chinese vehicles. It's insane. There's really no comparison between the two. Tesla as well. Tesla pales in comparison to some of the things I'm seeing out of Xiaomi. Xiaomi's got that ecosystem too. If you think Apple has an ecosystem, you should look at what Xiaomi has there. And they're only choosing to sell in China for whatever reason. Wait until they start expanding into Southeast Asia. Europe obviously is terrified of them as well, in the same way that North America is, because they're going to bankrupt their companies. And yeah, so I think that the only areas really that would mind all that much Chinese electric vehicles coming in are areas of the world that doesn't have a huge or strong auto manufacturing base, because they'd have nothing to lose in that regard, right? So that's kind of the way I see things there. Dan Generous, Taiwan leading chip innovation forever. China gets that. Boom. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that. That's war and all, obviously that kind of stuff. We'll leave that for somebody else. But I think China could catch up, maybe not right away, obviously. But we saw with the 5 nanometer how they were able to kind of throw a curveball to the West, and nobody knew that 5 nanometer chip was coming. A lot was made at the time, that Mate Pro, that they couldn't make the 5 nanometer chip en masse. And so therefore it was more of a science experiment that was going to be in a few phones. And then we saw the phone made, mass produced, and there's plenty of them going around. So that theory got kiboshed and threw to the side. So it's kind of hard to see what to make about that. Jeg goes on, I agree with you, Sharif. I think China is getting better. I'm saying it will accelerate now. West is leading as of today, but that is going to change because of recent policies. I agree with you 100%, man. The West, look, Western excellence is, yeah, there's just no question in my mind right now that we're leading, we're continuing to lead. How long we lead for, that's kind of the better question there, Joseph, and whether or not there's anybody that can kind of compete with us. And I see you guys joking in the chat, Chinese EVs are blowing up and stuff like that. Like, I've seen the videos. There's a couple of them. But this is also a country of over 1 billion people, and they've got the most amount of cars in all the world. So there's going to be these instances there, but for the most part, these cars are generally safe. Now, they are using the LFA or LPA, I forget the name of the battery, that can charge a lot quicker, and you can also charge it to 100% rather than 80 every single time. My understanding is it makes kind of the battery degradation speed up a little bit, but my understanding also is that they're working on that. Dangerous goes on, my point is Taiwan's innovation, not the West. West doesn't lead chip innovation, just manufacturing design. You're absolutely right, I missed that of your point. We all know that Taiwan Semi holds everything near and dear to their heart. Even the chip plants that they're opening up, Joseph, in North America, they're bringing in people from frickin' Taiwan to run them, because you just can't teach that kind of technical skill to people overnight. And so they're bringing their own people. In addition to that, Joseph, let's call a spade a spade. The kind of labor rights or the employment rights aren't the same in Taiwan as they are here. So why does that matter? Because if I phone you, it's completely normal in Taiwan. If something S hits the fan on the production line, get your ass out of bed 3 in the morning and schlep into work right now. That doesn't happen here, bro. I mean, so often, even if you're on call and that's part of your contract, that's not the standard. That's not the norm. People don't accept that as a matter of default. Whereas in their culture, from what I understand, this is kind of just the basics. So they're, you know.
Cultural norm, I guess we can
a little bit, from what I understand. I've never been to Taiwan. I don't live in Taiwan.
That's fair enough to say. I mean, I used to have to do emergencies all the time for when I was working at Bell Canada. So it's just, and that thing, honestly, it's honestly taxing, because when it's really busy and stuff, it's just like, yo, your phone is constantly ringing. You can't really enjoy anything for yourself, because you're always just on edge expecting your phone to ring. So that was a big part of the reason why I decided to do a career change all those years ago. Yeah, but this is what I'm looking at here, guys. The market is just ripping right now. This is a horrible signal for me on NVDA, and I'm like literally print anything but this at that specific area. So you can see that I was holding up pre-market low. You get an indecision print 1, and then you get indecision print 2 right there. So that is not very good sign for me. And then now I have my stop just a little bit above there. So if it does decide to want to climb that, then we'll just have to hop out of there, because the overall market is slowly grinding higher. Circle just can't stop, won't stop. Looking really, really good here. 186 to 199. Probably going to run into 200 there momentarily. And then AMD still putting in an additional high of the day. So you can see a nice slow consolidation right there. And then you punch through some of those levels, and then sure enough, you are dragging the market up with it. So I'm just going to be patient. It's either this is going to work out and we get VWAP, or we don't. It's literally that simplistic. I already micromanaged a couple trades this morning, and they didn't work out for me, hence talking about MSTU. Otherwise, we would have had a nice trade, but there it is. I've been sitting in these 2 names for quite some time. When did we first enter this position, Sharif? 11:54, just at noon. So a little bit over an hour. And then when we entered Tesla this morning, was at the ripe time of approximately 10:30, we'll call it flat. So yeah, we've been sitting in them to see if they can get cooking up. If Tesla does break the volume weighted average price, maybe we can get some squeeze type price action, and then I will most definitely like that. And then maybe look to add on any form of the pullbacks, and that's the exact same thing here. We don't establish a new high, and you can see that price gets weak. What this is telling me right now is that price is not weak. Like, just look at the continuous flushes on the offer. That is not something that I want to see when I'm in a bearish trade, all right? And then you can see we're also not very reactive to those flushes to the downside. So just keep that in mind. Tesla volume needs to pick up as we break through some of these key levels right here, Sharif. So that's what I'm looking for. Are we going to add into this position? Of course we can, especially if I have some more conviction within the setup and that volume and momentum really kicks in. So that's my game plan. I'm going to stick to it until I either hit my profit targets or I get stopped out, Sharif.
All right, there's a new small cap gapper that's weaseled its way onto the scene. It is halted to the upside. It goes by the ticker IBG.
There we go.
Okay, so we're up 75%, Joseph. We just cleared that dollar area. We're halted at 103, but you can see 2 pennies off the high of the day, 105. But those highs are actual or took place during regular market hours. They are not pre-market highs. So there's no concern here about the pre-market. There was this level on Friday, though, that we've cleared. 98 pennies. That was an aftermarket print. Again, I treat the aftermarket prints the same as the pre-market prints because of the bag holders and the halt parameters, etc. So let's keep an eye out on this one. The halt time here, I don't have it up. Allow me a second to weasel on over to find another trading screen that I can use here for IBG. Yeah, we can't trade HIMZ or HIMS. Sorry, I'm just going to take that off. IBG on the Nasdaq, I believe, yes. Okay, so the halt time, guys, 1 o'clock and 36 seconds on the dot. So current time right now, 1:03:09. So at the earliest, we should be open 1:05:36 for IBG. Sorry, it still shows HIMS. IBG up 74.58%, halted at 1 o'clock and 36 seconds. So look for this one to open up at 1:05 and 36 seconds. Currently, the theoretical auction price already showing me a bit higher. That's above the high of the day. It's showing me 106. The high is 105. So IBG right now catching a bit of a bid. Jag goes on to say, Sharif, I will disagree with you. Working in tech, I have been called at all times. The difference is my skill is dime a dozen whereas in Taiwan, China, India, my skill is a penny a 3 dozen. That's funny. Okay, I get what you're saying there. Look, again, Jag, I don't want to challenge you in what you're saying because clearly you've worked in tech. I haven't. But from what I've read and what I've watched is that the culture is fundamentally different there, especially working in such a high-tech field that you basically got to be ready at 24 hours a day to show up to work. I don't know if that's normal in North American culture. I'm sure there's a lot of people that do that. Doctors are on call. Other people are obviously on call as well. And so that exists. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm saying that's not the regular in our culture here. And that I can speak to because I've worked here for many years. So that's kind of my look there. Guys, HIMS is headed back up. I pulled out HIMZ to trade, but it's not available in our system, even though it's on the NQ, so I don't know what the hell. But anyway, popping back up, trying to take 22.25 on HIMZ, not S, with the high of the day, 22.55. So we defended VWAP like a dang glove, man, right into that 21 1/3 and popped right back up, almost $1 above that level. CAN is also, CAN, guys, is waking up from the depths of hell, above the volume weighted average price. Let's see if this thing can clear $1. If it can, I'll trade it. I have no problem with this one, but it's got to clear that buck for me to get involved. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Nothing else for me. I'm going to start doing the news in a minute as things slow down a little bit here. Joseph, what time is it now, man?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Okay, so we're getting there, baby. We're getting there.
We're getting there, yeah.
All right. By the way, how's the weekend?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good, man.
I didn't even ask you.
Yeah. We were just, I told you, we were just chilling, riding the bikes. Friday, super chilled. Saturday, up bright and early. Hit the outdoor workout gym, hopped on the old bikes, rolled around a little bit, and yeah.
Sick sesh outside?
Yeah.
Calisthenics sesh?
Yeah, it was nice, man. Nice and warm out, just how I like it.
Bro, how do you keep grip on the bars when it's that hot, though? I was gonna ask, are you bringing?
No, I don't bring gloves or nothing.
You don't bring gloves?
No.
You don't have no problem with that?
No.
For real, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember those bars. They're sick, but they get a little.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, what am I saying? They do have grips on them. The pull-up bars do have grips.
Yeah, so they'll have.
Totally forgot
So it's like clear bar, and then they have the sandpaper grade.
Sandpaper. There you go, baby.
So,
there you go. Good.
Got going on.
Gloves are for. Come on, Raven. We're talking about just gripping over here. Take it easy there, man. Don't use that word. Come on, bro. Stream get very upset. I personally
we can't be using those gloves. Do you wear gloves?
I never wear gloves, man. These calluses speak for themselves, baby.
Yeah, come on, man.
The point is, though, like gripping outside and when it's sweaty.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even wear gloves for deads, man.
Yeah, you got to hand sanitize after that.
Just use mixed grip. Do you do mixed grip for deads?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Do you wear belt?
No. I don't lift that heavy when I do deads.
Okay.
Yeah. Plate in a quarter is pretty much.
Plate in a quarter on deads?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Not that much.
Yeah, it's good.
It's nice.
It's
you know
good.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Like 185.
185 is good.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Crazy. Couple reps on that one.
Hey, couple?
Yeah,
you better be hitting 25 reps.
Yeah, no, like
5.
Like I usually do sets of 10, right? That's what we got for. All right, NVDA.
Deadlifting competition.
Yeah, deadlift. Yeah, you got me beat. I already know what you can deadlift on that one there, my brother. All right, so NVDA not working out for us here. You can see I'm going to try to hold on to this for a little bit longer here, Sharif. But really strong market. You can see what a big-time rebound. This is bull market-esque stuff. We're not breaking down. Maybe it's just going to be another liquidity grab before we slowly curl over. So we got to be patient on this one. I was thinking about taking a little bit off there, but I said, no, I'm either in it to win it, or I'll just get stopped out. So that's essentially what it is there. So, like push-ups that never happen.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I read that exact one too. It's like it never happened. Nobody cares,
happens, man. Nobody
oh
cares,
man, no. But I'm saying like I think that the chat is gonna goad us into being in the best shape of our life because we're gonna keep
going.
Well, that's a thing, right?
Consistency.
Your boy Neil's coming in.
We have a long history at Trader TV of keeping to our word when it comes to challenges. Whether it's when Sean and I had a friendly bet, England versus Italy, and when Italy won, this was in football, soccer, I had my face painted. Whether it's when I had to send a Trader TV Live sweatshirt to our good friend Mr. Westermeyer because KC beat Buffalo Bills. Look, I'm just talking about the ones where I'm on the receiving end of it. I've had to eat pineapple pizza because I lost a bet that I had with the viewers.
Tell them what I did, Neil.
So, no, you did the Bring Sally Up challenge.
And I had to sit there with your Josh Allen.
You also had to sit there with the Josh Allen. So at the end of the day, when the two of you put this push-up challenge out there,
good point,
it
Neil.
Needs to happen.
Ooh.
And we have lots of empty space around here now. Now, granted, it's a little dirty around here because of renovation, but let's just get it done, gentlemen. Everyone wants to see it. My money's still on Sharif. Peace.
Got a lot of money.
Yeah, we'll get Ramin to film that one there for us in the back, and then we'll just display it. Ram.
She'll juice the results somehow.
That's fine. Hey, maybe in my favor,
I might trust in Ram.
You know what? I might pay a little something on that side for a little video edit there. I come out on top. You know what I mean? But that's how we do it.
Good vibes. Good vibes.
Always TVO. Good vibes only, guys. All right, come on, NVDA. Break down and don't crack this top. If the market does decide that it wants to start to pull back a little bit, I think we'll be okay, and then maybe we can head into that 164.60 level again. We'll definitely trim some there, but Tesla slowly curling up and starting to pick up a little bit of steam, but we do need that volume to kick in here to really get working for us there, because we've been sitting in this. Multiple opportunities to add, but I also didn't want to make this position overly too large. It's funny because this one's working out for me. I'm not going to add to it, and I'm thinking about adding to the one that's not working for me. Great logic there, Joe. I don't know. That doesn't make too much sense, obviously, but that's just kind of how my brain works. But I won't be doing either one of them. Full disclosure. Let's see if we can get this breakdown. The more touches up here without us breaching that, then I think it's going to be more in my favor there, Sharif.
All right, I just got into IBG, guys. I'm scalping here into the high of the day. The high of the day on IBG is $112. We're right back into that high. I'm looking at wetting the beak next at 112. We're in at 8. Look, it's not exploding to the high side. Anything below that dollar, I'm gone. So we've taken out the majority of the positions so far. So I'm just waiting for a move up to add, quite frankly. But there is a buyer here at higher and higher levels every single time, and we just popped up into 14 super quick and rejected. That's a real wick because I'm seeing it on my platform. Now I'm concerned that we did that and then rejected. So could that mean the sellers are now in control? What I'm trying to look for on the 5-second chart are the higher lows. That's what's operative in my book, as long as we have higher lows. Now that could change in a second, and my mind needs to be able to change with that as well. So here we go again, dipping into 106, 107. This is where the buyers have been stepping in. I'm looking for continuation here above that $115, above the $114 ideally, because that is where the high of the day is. So I'm just keep packing my patience. Don't want to take it out too quickly. Holding a little piece here for a possible move up as we zig back into 110s. We're putting in kind of lower highs now. So I'm a little concerned, even though we got the higher lows on, we've got lower highs. So there seems to be a seller at 9 prior. It was 10 prior to that. It was 11. So we're certainly getting some selling over here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move up my stop from below that dollar. I'm going to move it up to 102s. So let's go ahead and throw it up. Oh, I'll put it on 101s. And then we'll just put into 102, and then we'll just put into 98 there for the remaining amount. So I've moved up my stop on this one. Let's see if that helps me prevent any kind of like unnecessary holding into an area where it clearly should have been stopped out. So that lower high pattern is still in play. And here's what I'm looking at, just so you guys can kind of get what I'm talking about here. So there we go. This is the 5-second chart. So you can kind of see every successive pop a little bit lower than the prior one, right? And so you can kind of feel that the sellers are in control here. Alas, you're still coming into an important area. Let's see if now we get that buying off that 102. So then I will get stopped out over here as it loses that dollar area. 101, that's what, so we'll get stopped out in the remaining amount there. That's all right as it continues to bleed more. So good thing that we stopped the bleeding before it bled even further. But what I'm trying to keep an eye out is if I got bamboozled and this is going to rocket right back up. It's no, pardon me. It is not, at least not yet. So that's what we'll keep an eye out on that. Sorry, I'm just setting up my screen over here. EOSE, I've been holding this one for a long time and there's been nothing doing over here. And I did get the ad finally at 505. So let's set up an order on this one. I'm going to set up at 510s. See if we can get something in and around that level right now at 510s. That's all I've got right now, Joseph. I'm going to do the news if you have anything you want to cover. Otherwise, I'm just going to jump right into it.
Yeah, hop right in, brother.
Hop right in.
I'm still in the exact same two positions, doing the same thing here. Looking like NVDA might pop up against us, and then you can see Tesla selling too. So that's fun stuff there.
All right, man, let's do this over here. Let's start. Give me a second, Assassino, to set this up. So let's talk about a little BTC. Obviously, it's old news, but some of the data here could be important. So let's get right to it. Bitcoin surged. From what I saw on my platform, 123,500, give or take. The gain follows a $1.18 billion inflow into spot BT ETFs on Thursday. That was the strongest day these spot ETFs have had in all of 2025. And it was led, unlike some people's assertions, it was led by institutional buyers who continue to accumulate, reportedly adding $15 billion between a 6 to 8 week period. So institutional buyers weaseling into the tune of $15 billion over a 6 to 8 week period. Long-term holders are locking in supply while retail investors remain largely sidelined. I don't know how I feel about that little comment there because I know that people are punching in, myself included. Risk from Trump's new trade disputes may cause volatility, but institutions seem to be kind of unfazed by this latest tariff issue and are continuing to punch in Bitcoin and crypto at large nonetheless. It's also the start of crypto week, Joseph. The U.S. House begins debating major crypto bills this week in what's being dubbed Crypto Week. Key legislations include, amongst others, not the only one, the Genius Act, which would regulate stablecoins and digital dollar issuance. There's also new rules as parts of these legislations that could provide clear federal guidelines, long demanded, obviously, by the crypto industry at large. And some year-end targets, if you're interested in listening to this, 10 times research here, or 10x research, or whatever they call themselves, Joseph, sees year-end BTC, oh baby.
I'm really rich.
At 140 to 160,000, supported by macro and policy trends. You guys want more, huh? You want 200? Oh, Neil's like, I'm rich. No. The biggest overhang, though, Joseph, it's not all just sunshine and rainbows. Yeah. The Fed's hawkishness, as well as interest rate, I don't know, this thing says interest rate hikes. I don't believe that. Possibly triggered by tariff-driven inflation. Some tailwinds, though, could be, like we've been talking about a long time, the sovereign wealth funds buying this one up. We know central banks are buying up gold. Now they're buying up Bitcoin. It's not just, retails and or hedge funds. It's these pension funds, sovereign wealth funds. What else? There's other funds as well, hedge funds. Picking these up. And, it's been definitely reflected in the price action, Joey. Anything you want to add there?
Yeah, Bitcoin's been phenomenal. I'm all out of NVDA here, guys. It broke through, so we did take a loss on that one, but that's okay. We'll just hop out of that because the market is just slowly grinding higher. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a liquidity grab and then eventually starts to slowly curl over because of that open interest. It may not happen today, but at some point throughout the week, we will get involved in that. But as for Bitcoin,
that's a flat top break, just screaming your name there.
Yeah, well, I got out of it though. I got out. I was short here. Yeah, you see, I was short. Yeah. And then we got that move down, it ran right into support, and then it's sure enough, it just kind of squeezed up there against me. But as for Bitcoin, Sharif, I think this is going to be a really important candle from a daily standpoint. If it closes like this come Monday morning, I will be closing out some of my contracts because I don't want to hold this against me. So I'm just going to with what the technicals are telling me, and whether it goes higher, then I'll just leave something for a runner, but then I'll lock in the majority of the position. Right.
And like such a sound execution too, because you're coming at this from the options and the equities.
Yeah.
And so your equities are your long term. You're not going to sell those, but your options, that's where you're printing short term on. Makes absolute sense to do that.
Absolutely.
Shout out to you, man. It's excellent work right there.
Appreciate that.
All right, guys, let's talk a little Nvidia. Your boy Jensen's headed back to China. And he told CNN that China can't rely on US-made chips due to potential restrictions and sufficient local computing power. Really, Jensen? Jensen's seeing local competition, I guess, spur up. He said it kind of discreetly like that. He argued the Chinese military developments don't depend on NVIDIA or U.S. tech stacks. He dismissed concerns that NVIDIA's chips are aiding China's military defense, despite ongoing bipartisan export restrictions out of Washington. He reiterated, Huang, that is, criticism of U.S. chip export restrictions, saying they undermine America's tech leadership in the world. And he warned that isolating half of the world's AI developers, many of whom are obviously in China, limits U.S. global influence. I guess that's the kind of the counter argument to the restrictions. He stressed that U.S. dominance in AI requires global adoption of American tech, not isolationism. That has been kind of the argument by proponents of free trade, not free trade, but, against these export restrictions to China and other jurisdictions. So we're going to have to wait and see how Washington responds. NVIDIA's China market has already been cut in half, guys. The company reported developing new China-compliant chips to retain market access under tightened regulations, but we'll have to see how much they've lost and whether or not the regulator, i.e. Donald Trump and crew, come back later once he's already designed these chips, has them manufactured, ready to sell, like the H20. Remember that. All of a sudden, he wasn't able to sell it overnight, which is very, very tough for company planning. He is preparing, Huang, that is Jensen Huang, for a second trip this year to China after recently meeting with Donald Trump last week. U.S. lawmakers have warned him quite clearly that engaging with entities tied to China's military or export blacklist is strictly prohibited, and they will not stand for it. So we'll have to see how he navigates that. Analyst says he is walking a tightrope trying to maintain access to China without provoking U.S. political backlash. I'm going to assume that's probably harder to do than, mate CI.
Absolutely, Sharif. I agree with you on that front. And we all know what's going on with the H20. He's got to tiptoe his way through China to see if he can get rolling. But he's opening up. Donald Trump helped open up to more sovereign nations like in the Gulf and everything along those lines. So even if China can't be one of their primary customers, I think they'll have the ability to continue to grow.
I'm going to throw you a curveball.
For sure.
So we know that Marco Rubio met with his counterpart from China last week in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, a Chinese foreign minister, that is. And basically, it was looked at as a springboard for a Xi-Trump meeting, right? It was going to be like a meeting between, and I think Xi invited Trump to China, so I think he invited him and the First Lady as well.
Yep.
So after that, we heard that your boy Donald was looking at bringing a contingent of business leaders to China in the way that he did with the Middle East when they went to Qatar and they went to UAE and Saudi and everything like that. Joseph, if that happens and he brings the business leaders with him, is there a possibility that that trip somehow manifests or something out of that trip into a chip deal?
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be the intention of him bringing all those people there, is so that they can find a common ground to come up with a deal, a chip deal, whatever it may be. So yeah, in short answer, yes, I think that would be his primary objective. If he's bringing these group of individuals with him, he's not going to go there with a goal of, hey, let's see how I can sabotage this.
Yeah,
let's see. I think he's going to go there with the mindset of like, hey, how can we make the best deal for obviously for America, and then try to make it so it's okay for China.
And you got to assume these business leaders want access to the Chinese market as well, so they're going to be pushing him in that direction as well.
Exactly.
Whether or not he gives a you know what, he doesn't seem to care.
He doesn't care whatsoever.
You know, he marches to the beat of his own drum. We know how Donald works.
I agree with you there.
All right, let's talk a little Meta, Assassino, because Zuckerberg faces trial over Facebook's role, remember this, in the Cambridge Analytica scandal? If you don't, let me tell you a little bit about it. Mark Zuckerberg will testify this week in a major $8 billion shareholder lawsuit tied to Facebook's mishandling of user data. Shareholders do allege in the lawsuit that Zuckerberg and other Meta executives, I'll get to those in a minute, ignored risks tied to a 2012 FTC agreement and failed to prevent the Cambridge Analytica breach. Plaintiffs include institutional investors as well as pension funds like the California State Teachers Retirement System. The scandal erupted back in 2018 after it was revealed that Cambridge Analytica accessed data from millions of Facebook users without their consent. Some people say the data was used to support Donald Trump's 2016 presidential election, and Meta ultimately paid over $5 billion in regulatory fines and settlements related to the data breach and the prior consent order violations. The defendant includes some heavyweights, man. Sheryl Sandberg, former COO of Meta, lovingly called the only adult in the room early on because they were all children. Board members, Peter Thiel, the heavyweight, Reed Hastings, Mark Andreessen. This is a who's who of the heavyweights over here, all implicated. Meta is not a defendant, though, in the suit, but is deeply implicated in the case due to the conduct of its leadership. The case will scrutinize internal Meta board communications and decisions post that 2012 FTC order. IBG is breaking out, by the way, guys. Plaintiffs argue that Zuckerberg ran a tightly controlled board and that executives intentionally violated user privacy rights to the benefit financially. The trial is expected to last about 8 days, give or take, and may shed light on Meta's leadership practices and ethics. Really, what comes to mind to me, the first thing that I see, the case will scrutinize internal Meta board communications and decisions. Companies hate opening up the books, and they have to do it in discovery, or what do you guys call that in the States? You guys call that, we call it discovery here. You guys call it depositions, okay? So they hate that because these are all subpoena documents that they would not release otherwise, and they obviously have trade secrets, strategies, et cetera, that they don't want to open up. Now, the good side of this, it's quite dated. 2012, 15 years ago, 13 years ago, excuse me. So it's been a long time, and you could say a lot of the people that were involved at the time are no longer there. So really, how much do people know about how the company is being run? That always does concern me, though, Joseph, from a competition perspective, that you got to open up the books.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be giving away those secrets. And I mean, we all know what Meta's been up to. Let's take a look at this thing from a technical standpoint. Meta has been just on an absolute monster run. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do this. Thank God it worked, because that would have been embarrassing. But there it is. Here it is, guys. Like, I mean, Liberation Day lows right here. It put in an actual newer low after, established a new low here after that. But off of those days, you can see that we're up a substantial amount, 50% almost in META. So Zuck and company have been half decently good. And we know what type of CapEx this guy's spending. He's trying to put together a super team of AI intelligence. And I think he's off to the right track. So it's only a matter of time until you see Meta at the all-time highs there, guys. Adara, what do you got for us?
Bloomberg reporting here, apparently the Department of Defense is awarding contracts with a $200 million ceiling to OpenAI, XAI, Google, and Anthropic. Google, if anything, pushing lower on this. Apparently, the goal of these contracts is going to be to accelerate AI adoption across the military and governmental systems. Separately, XAI today announced Grok for government. So clearly some government AI-related announcements. Palantir could be on watch for this. I have not seen anything about it has a contract, so I don't want to comment either way. But Palantir on watch. I'm also hearing apparently Donald Trump going to be announcing $70 billion in AI and energy investments. I've seen this headline a couple times over the past 5 minutes, so just be aware that could be on watch. Back to you.
Dude, thank you.
Training videos.
Oh, okay.
Pumped for those. Those were good times.
Good times, brother. Times over.
Micron is still down 4%. Adira, did there anything come to light on Micron after that down move, or no? She doesn't know anything about it. Okay, so this thing.
So there was one catalyst on it that was actually in our watch list this morning. I think Neil mentioned it a couple times as well. Edgewater, which is like a quantitative research firm, they released a note saying that both SanDisk and Micron they had strong, I guess, demand and pricing in the first half of the year, but the second half of the year, that demand and pricing might waver. However, a ton of people on social media were like, this is not true. There is no accuracy or veracity to this. So it's kind of dealer's choice as to whether or not you want to take that seriously, but that was the only news I saw on it.
Thanks for that, Adira. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything either. So we'll just skip over this. So Micron's down 4%. You know, this article posited that the drop came despite recent strong earnings, suggesting investors may be reacting to macro factors or technical pressure. It really doesn't know all that much, okay? It just tells you all about it, so we'll move on. Google, getting into the AI, the AI talent acquisition game over here. So they reached a $2.4 billion deal, Joseph, to license Windsurf's tech and hire its co-founder, Varun Mohan, along with key R&D staff. The deal stopped short of an all-out acquisition. Windsurf remains independent and can still license its tech to others, so it could scale. Yeah. And then everybody canceled with scale for obvious reasons. Nobody wants to give up their trade secrets. The hires will join Google's DeepMind division with a focus on advancing agentic coding via AI or Gemini AI models. I'm going to stop here for a second.
Yep.
I've been using 2.5. And even though maybe the large language model aspect of it is cool, it still sucks relative to chat because of its all-around lack of all-around features. For example, it doesn't do any picture editing. It doesn't have any attachments in the way that what are they called? Not attachments, add-ons.
Add-ons.
And in the way that that chat does.
Chat does.
So to me, even though like it's getting better from a text perspective,
still
but the other side of it.
Yeah, I mean, I can just post a picture into ChatGPT and I say, break this down for me.
I think we can do that with Gemini as well. But what I was saying is, like, it doesn't generate pictures.
It doesn't generate.
I mean, like,
they can construct a picture of this,
like
this,
basic
and this,
stuff,
and
like
that.
all that, like. Anyway, I don't know, man. I tried giving it an opportunity on the weekend. I'm talking about 2.5 because we get that free with our Google account over here because we have everything Google.
But Google's got some good stuff down the pipeline, obviously.
I'm not saying it's not good, but no. I gotta tell you,
still lots of work to do.
Yeah, like when you compare them, well, maybe because I have the paid version of chat, but this is the paid version of Google as well, the 2.5, right? So Windsurf, let's continue with this Windsurf headline, was in acquisition talks with OpenAI for about $3 billion earlier this year, which is more than what Google paid. Google paid 2.4. Windsurf was going to get acquired by OpenAI for 3, but the exclusivity period expired. Therefore, Google jumped in. Google's deal, though, underscores OpenAI's efforts and marks another blow in the ongoing AI talent war. And we've been talking about this. Zuck picking up a lot of people, not the least of which Andrew Wang and company, and many other people as well. Meta, as I was just saying, Meta recently hired Scale founder Alexander Wang to lead its AI strategy as a part of its $14.3 billion investment. Microsoft and Amazon, as well as Google, have all absorbed talent through partial team acquisitions or licensing deals. So very much right now, if you're skilled in AI, your talents are highly coveted. Joseph, anything on that one?
Yeah. I mean, Google's been absolutely monstrous, I think, as of late, guys, with a lot going on. Let's pull it up what we got going on from a technical standpoint. I think this is going to be really important to kind of gauge here. And I was mentioning this earlier in the day as well, too, is that the fact that once you have the ability to break through this 181 and hold it, then I think that's when you're going to make that next move into 189. So just be patient on that. And then we do have earnings coming up in a couple of weeks as well, too. So keep an eye on that, especially when all the big tech names start rolling. And for me personally, what I'm looking at here is how much market share has ChatGPT chewed up from Google in the search engine, and then also cloud. If cloud comes out a beat, I think that this name is just going to go absolutely parabolic and maybe even catch up to the overall market and most definitely head towards those all-time highs. So this is going to be a really pivotal moment here. And goggles.
All right, man. We know Prime Day or Prime Week or Prime Time was last week, and Amazon extended Prime Day from 48, typically to days, bless you, Neil, 48 hours to 96 hours this year, turning the 2025 edition into a 4-day shopping event for the first time ever. The company stated it was the biggest Prime Day ever, with more sales and items sold than any prior 4-day period that included a Prime Day. Bless you again, Neil. Adobe Analytics quickly becoming a really important player here in retail sales data. They reported that shoppers spent about $24.1 billion during Prime Day via online transactions in the U.S. alone. The figure, this 24.1, is a 30% bump year over year, topping Adobe's prior forecast of about 28% and underscoring strong consumer demand. So the consumer continuing to spend, or are they waiting and being more thrifty? Now, that could be another possibility as well. Maybe it's the biggest 4-day event ever that included Prime, because consumers are sick and tired of paying high prices and they're waiting for these discounted times to weasel in. So that could be another explanation as well. Amazon's deals spanned over 35 product categories, contributing to the broad-based strength in spending. So by all accounts here, it was quite a good 4 days. And I just want to mention that $24.1 billion that was spent, that wasn't just on Amazon. That was on in general in that 4-day period online. So that we already know that Target was having their Circle Day. Walmart as well had like a 3-4 day period as well. I forget what they called it, everyday savings or something like that. So Amazon's competitors were throwing a concurrent event to obviously catch some tailwind there with Amazon. So anything that you want to jump on?
Yeah. I mean, from a retail standpoint, you know that Amazon is looking to issue their own stablecoin as well too. AWS, I think, is an absolute monster and a beast. They missed actually on their previous report with AWS, but again, if they come in with a beat, I think Google and Amazon, those cloud servers, have the potential to make moves like we've seen in Microsoft's Azure. So those are really important. Azure, out of the big 3 cloud names, was the only one to actually beat on estimates.
Easy, yeah. It was a great.
And then look what the stock has done since its previous earnings report. So
it's up nicely. Yeah, it's up 3% on the year.
It's
better than Tesla and Google and Apple. It's better than all those. So
how much percent you say on the year?
3%. 2.95, yeah.
Microsoft is only up 3%.
No. Microsoft.
Oh, yeah, I was
Microsoft's a rocket.
Way more. Yeah, exactly.
So Microsoft's a monster.
But that's the thing, right? If these 2 names decide to play catch up, watch out. This market is extremely strong. So I'm short NVDA once again, but just from the price action, you're just getting those vibes that it's an all-day trend there. So you don't want to try to take too many stabs, and as I like to say, you don't want to milk a stone, especially when the market is moving.
The OG Darwin, sorry to interrupt you, the OG Darwin Congressional Committee moves to block marijuana rescheduling. Keep your eye out on these marijuana names. Let's scroll down to my watch list over here for weed. MSOS is dropping quickly, down 4%. MSOS dipping down there off a 292 high. It's now down into the low of day, 282. Shout out to the OG Darwin, always bringing the goods, now down 4.75 and bleeding more, guys. MSOS on the way down. That is the levered ETF. No, this one's not levered, is it? No, this is a regular one. It's MSOX that's levered. Excuse me. Let me add that one in. I don't know why I don't have it. MSOX. I should have that one, Joey.
I'm short.
So MSOX is down 10.25. So the triple levered ETF is really coming down here. 358 low. It's at the day's low. It's continuing to print. So keep your eye out on that right now, guys. Shout out to the OG Darwin for bringing that in. We're going to Adara. She might have something on this, so we'll wait until we get the call.
Short MaxOS.
MaxOS. I like that. Yeah, go to Adara.
I didn't even have that headline pop up for me yet, so thank you to Darwin in the chat for bringing that up. I did go to Marijuana Moment, where the headline and article does exist, of course, and I was reading through it, so I want to provide some context. The headline is, Congressional Committee moves to block marijuana rescheduling. It's a bit more complex than that. What's happening here is a House committee, primarily a Republican, I guess, House committee, apparently unveiling a new spending bill. Now, within that spending bill, there are some provisions to block the Justice Department from rescheduling marijuana. So the bill itself, or the move itself, is not blocking marijuana rescheduling. There are some provisions within said spending bill that would, block the Justice Department from rescheduling marijuana. Apparently, the legislation would maintain a separate, long-standing rider protecting state medical cannabis programs from federal interference. So yeah, kind of a mixed story, I guess, when you read the details. It's not quite as simple as the headline maybe implies. Back to you.
Go on over here to Tesla. Well, it's not really a Tesla story, guys. It's more of an XAI story with Grok 4 being released on the weekend. Let's talk a little bit about this. Elon Musk publicly stated he does not support a merger between Tesla and his AI startup XAI in response to a poll on X. We'll pause here for a second, Joseph.
All right, new traders, listen up. First month free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite, analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description.
I like to execute.
So do I.
Yeah,
I'm glad that I. Speaking of execution, I'm glad that I hopped out of this Tesla trade here as well, too, guys. So we were sitting in that for some time, and you can see we just rejected the volume-weighted average price. So we just hopped out. The tape was still relatively weak, no continuation going on there. And I'm like, what is dragging the Nasdaq higher? Like, why is it so strong? If we go across the board and look at some of these Mag 7 names, Sharif, sorry, we'll hop right back into the news.
Do your thing.
None of them are substantially strong. Right? So what is it? Okay, so market breadth is picking up. Let's take a look at some of these secondary plays. What's CrowdStrike up to? CrowdStrike putting in a monster day, you know what I mean? And then what's CRM up to? You know, looking pretty decent as well. So a nice bull flag being formed, some nice higher lows being formed there as well too. So that's looking good. What is Sharif's favorite up to? Hand-Up. See what it's up to. It's continuously grinding higher, almost at 192 and change there, Sharif. So market breadth most definitely kicking in on today's session.
Piece of crap. All right. The statement comes as speculation rises around potential integration of Musk's various companies, particularly with the growing role of AI in Tesla's ecosystem. We know that Tesla's going to include Grok in its cars, so you're going to be able to use that in a future update. I don't know if they already dropped the update. He did hint, Musk that is, hinted that Tesla may hold a shareholder vote on investing in XAI, though no date was confirmed by Musk. This follows a poll last year where a majority of his followers on X did vote or supported, I should say, a $5 billion investment by Tesla in XAI. And to build on that point, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that SpaceX has actually agreed to invest about $2 billion into XAI, another Musk company, obviously, as a part of a broader overall $10 billion funding effort. So we'll have to see how that all works out. But I got to tell you, a lot is being made online now about how good Grok 4 is. So XAI continues to scale aggressively, billing Grok 4 as the most intelligent AI to date. Independent testers says Grok 4 performs above average, though exact capabilities remain under scrutiny. Of course they're under scrutiny. They belong to Elon Musk. They're not going to give him anything for free. No, but seriously though, I was listening to All In podcast on the weekend, and a lot of the members of All In, mostly Chamath though, basically billing Grok 4 as having an unlimited number of PhDs at your disposal.
Yeah.
But here's the deal, Joseph. Now they're saying that Grok 4 has actually solved engineering problems that have not been solved in real life.
Really?
In addition to that, they're saying that Grok 4 last year, or Grok, has synthesized all human made information, produced information so far, and now it is going to start solving unsolved problems and learning off that and grading itself on these unsolved, essentially synthetic data, made up data, non-human generated data that it's going to kind of solve and then give itself somehow a grade on how good that solution was. And based upon that grade, it will either incorporate it into its pre-training, or it'll kind of degrade it down, or give it like a lower score, something like that.
But I mean, that's the thing, right? Like I don't even think we understand the potential of this AI boom It's just getting started. Essentially, the sky, there is no limit. It can go as far as the human mind, not even the human mind, the computer can take itself. So we haven't even tapped into anything. When did ChatGPT come out? 2022 or 23?
Yes,
whatever.
22,
So
November 22.
It's still so new. It's still in its infancy. And I mean, there's so much room for this space to grow. And I think a lot of that is the reason why we're still driving this bull market here today.
Makes absolute sense, guys. We're going to Adara.
Keep an eye here on the market. We have our first crypto week related catalyst, but it actually isn't coming from the House. Instead, it's coming from a joint statement from a variety of federal agencies here. That includes the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or FDIC. So these agencies collectively releasing a pretty long document here about crypto asset safekeeping by banking organizations, just basically emphasizing risk management. Nothing huge in this report. It did skim through it, but as I mentioned, it's about 7 pages and in pretty formal text. But either way, definitely keep an eye on some of these crypto plays. It looks like we're getting a bit of a start to our crypto week, as it's been called. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. And just building on a little bit more, bro. So he's released 2 paid versions. There is the kind of the Pro, I think he called it Pro. It's like $30 a month or something like that. And there, of course, typical to Elon, can't call it, it's something different. He's calling it Grok heavy. He thinks it's a dang rocket, bro. What is
Grok
the Falcon heavy? Calm down there, Elon, bro.
I think I know what he was getting on there with Grok heavy, but.
Well, okay, I actually don't know. You'll have to tell me off camera.
Well, there you go. You can show the geofence of our
Oh my God, I don't even want to bring that up.
I've seen someone mention it.
Neil, did you? Okay, I'm just gonna throw this out there. You guys go do your own research. I know you're gonna want to hear this. Have a look at the Austin geofence, Neil, for the Tesla robotaxi. Tell me what the geofence map looks like to you. I can make this simple for you. I can send it to you. Neil's like, yo, man, I'm not going to put in the work. Just send it to me. But you guys do your own research in the chat. True to Elon fashion, he's just he's still got big kid, man. He's a child, right?
Hey,
just a very smart child.
But that's what they say, man. Yeah. When you got that type of money, it just allows you to kind of be youthful that much longer. So
exactly.
You can do whatever you want, right?
So anyway, this heavy one, it's going to be $3,000 US a year.
Grok heavy.
Yeah. So apparently it's better than 03 Pro. And that's what's it called? Altman's best model so far.
Yeah.
So, we'll have to wait and see. He is living life, Kumar. He don't give a you-know-what. He's just like, look, I'm doing it. You don't like it? There's the wall. Go smash your head against it.
I don't care.
I do not care. Let's talk about China exports, Assassino, because they did quite well in June for whatever reason. So Chinese exports rose 5.8% year over year in the month of June, beating Reuters' 5% target there. It was led by strong demand outside the U.S., as well as, obviously, temporary tariff relief. Imports climbed about 1.1%, marking their first positive growth in 2025. Can you believe all their import prints year to date have been negative? Although it was slightly below expectations, even still. Despite 3 straight months of U.S. export declines, for example, June's minus 16.1% drop was a notable improvement than the minus 34 that we printed in May. So the drop is starting to kind of, I don't want to say it's bottomed out, but it's definitely slowing down. So where are they sending their products, Joe? Shipments to Southeast Asia increased 16.8% year over year, as well as to Europe, 7.5%, a bit more than 7.5% increase year over year, with major gains seen in rare earths, which actually increased 60.3% year over year. Steel up 10%, and integrated circuits about 25.5%. So even though the EU is terrified of China as well, let's just be very honest about it. They have an industry they have to defend. They are sending their products to the EU over the US as a result of earlier. We had that 145% tariff, not anymore though.
Absolutely.
So that is the look there. So China continues to kind of, recover, or I don't want to say recover, but move away from exclusively relying on China or in the U.S. for their exports.
You know what? And you've seen that, like, it's not as talked about as we think, but it's like when America's like, all right, we're slapping tariffs on essentially everybody, we're trying to restructure our trade deals, but that led to other countries being like, hey, let's work out a deal for ourselves. Let's sway from it, right? You know what I mean? And just to use it as an example, until this started happening, I never seen that much Australian beef in the grocery stores.
It's very true, man.
Now we have a lot of Australian.
But you're going to see
customers.
more.
You're going to see more, right? So it's just like, okay, yeah, you're going to give us a hard time. Well, guess what? There's umpteen amount of countries that are willing to strike deals with us. We're not going to go through the headache of having to go through. Obviously, everybody wants to be tapped into the American consumer, but there's other ways around these things, and that's just one example of just now how Canada has slightly shifted. Now it's like, okay, buy Canadian, you're seeing this, and then now you're starting to see Australian beef in our supermarkets, and that I never personally seen that before. So.
No, you see a lot of the lamb. Australian lamb is a big deal. But
now it's all of them is the top sirloin cuts.
there you go.
And everything.
But I want to build on your point because your boy Carney has made that very clear, the Prime Minister of Canada. He's not going to turn his back on the U.S. That would be foolhardy and impossible. But what he will do is build new trade relationships. And let's be even more clear about it. He invited President or Prime Minister Modi when Justin Trudeau had basically all but outcasted Prime Minister Modi. He flipped the switch 180 degrees just like that. And you know what else he did on the weekend? He's reopening trade dialogue with China. Another thing that your boy Trudeau had basically all but closed the door on, because he wants to tell the other parts of the world how they should be living rather than them decide for themselves. So you know he had to discipline them. Joseph Carney ain't worried about disciplining anybody. He's all about where the money is, where like how can the Canadian economy be sound. So he's opening up two previously closed doors under the previous government.
Well, and then also the natural resource store as well too, right? Opening that door, going to start exporting liquid natural gas. I'm pretty sure Germany was like, hey, Canada, we want your LNG. Trudeau says, we're not doing that stuff anymore. We're green nowadays. But I think that Carney's going to reopen those doors.
He is. So. Yeah. And they're like, I don't even want to get into this right now, but like they're actually talking about building a railroad from northern Alberta directly into the Hudson's Bay with a possible shipping port into the Hudson's Bay that can go either from the Northwest Passage, or I don't know why they do that, because BC doesn't want them to build through a pipeline through their land, so they can go through the Northwest Passage and go west, or they can go east on the Atlantic. So he's literally, there's going to be basically a west to east railroad from Alberta into the Hudson's Bay, and then they can go whichever direction. Obviously still on paper, but
that's what we need.
I like the ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's get to this last one over here. Donald Trump increasing tariffs on all EU imports effective August 1st. He posted in a public letter to European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, It follows similar threats, obviously, to other trading partners, Mexico and Canada included, who have now been slapped with 30% tariffs starting August 1st. The tariffs would affect a wide range of European goods, including German machinery, French cheese, Italian luxury items, and Danish pharmaceuticals. Trump confirmed the new tariff would be in addition to existing sector-specific tariffs. For example, the 50% on steel and aluminum, the 25% on autos. So you bump that, add 30 onto those bad boys. The EU and the US account for nearly 30% of all global trade, and together they account for 43% of all global GDP. In 2024 alone, the EU and the US traded, Joseph, listen to this eye-watering number, $1.96 trillion of trade between those two blocks, the EU and the US, roughly about 4.6 billion euros per day, if you wanted to do it on a per-day figure. The EU, though, for their part, they had a 50 billion euro trade surplus with the U.S. last year, driven largely by goods, about a $198 billion surplus only for goods. But when you average goods and services, it ends up being only a $50 billion trade surplus or euro surplus for Europe. Okay, but when you just look at goods, they got a 198 billion euro surplus, and obviously Donald's not going to like that because we've been talking about manufacturing.
He does not like that, no.
The most exposed sectors, Joseph, include pharmaceuticals, autos, aircrafts, with Germany, Italy, and Ireland expected to feel the brunt of these new tariffs. European ministers are meeting in Brussels to plan a response, but no retaliatory steps have been announced yet. The bloc had previously offered to buy more, as you were saying, Joseph, buy more U.S. LNG and defense equipment in hopes of avoiding blanket tariffs. I thought Obi was getting amped up there for a second. And then this article over here, I didn't get a chance to review because I ran out of time, but basically Tim Cook may not be out, but they're saying a lot of C-suite executives may be finding the door quite soon. So,
well, I mean, that's how it starts, right? We all know that ish rolls downhill, but eventually it will creep back up there. And then once you start going up those ranks in the totem pole and things aren't working for you, it's one after the other, right? You just keep chopping each executive branch down lower and lower and lower until you're eventually at the top. And then it's like, what is really wrong with this going on here, guys? So yeah, Tim Cook's got to get this right. He's extremely behind here, so a lot going on with that Apple stuff. So video news, Joseph, what's up, brother? Yeah, I'm super exhausted today for some reason. I woke up in the middle of the night. But yeah, we're still short this NVDA. This market is so strong here, guys. Look, I would suspect that we would get more of a retracement, but then it prints this candle right here, and it's like, no, see ya later. They don't want any of that smoke, so just be cautious of what's going on. I wouldn't be surprised if we do catch a couple selling days. Just look how extended this market is, in my opinion. But this is a healthy breath. We are now a couple percentage points off of the previous all-time high. Let's see to be exact. 3.4%. It's just like, at what point are we going to get that pullback? I'm looking for 10, 15%, but it just may not come, or when it will, it's going to be when you least expect it. But anything can turn this market on a dime, right? So tired because of that weekend. Yeah, no, seriously, Neil, when you're kicking really hard, when you're chilling out really hard, you get tired sometimes. So, and I was also up. Adara can attest for that. Yeah, Adara knows exactly what I'm talking about there. So, no, I mean, Milo woke me up at like 3:30 in the morning, so I was just like, yeah, man, this guy, man, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I would get another. I love him to bits, but I don't think I would get another dog. I don't even know how I would do with a kid. And I heard you get no sleep with a kid, and I can't even sleep with this dog. Yeah, I might get a cat, Obi. I might get a cat so it can just entertain Milo, to be honest with you. I love playing with him, but when he's just home alone, we get them the cat, and then maybe the cat won't let him wake up at 3 in the morning and tell him to go back to sleep or anything like that. But yeah, anyways, guys, let's see. You can just see the strength in the market, right? We're not getting those pullbacks. So we got a big time trend day, and then come tomorrow. Oh, Sean's gonna get cheesed at me. I wonder if Sean's listening. Time for tomorrow's trade today. Yeah. Sean, he's mad at me. He's turning right now on his vacation. Yeah. Tell him.
You got a 12-10 marker. We got to make sure we split that 12-10.
153.
And we got a 153 marker. Assassino, we got to write these down, baby.
We got
to expose Joey.
We don't ask for much around here.
We keep asking, though.
We just keep
Every
asking,
time,
baby.
we keep asking.
We don't ask for much, but we keep asking, baby, and that's all you can do, right? Otherwise, you're not going to get what you want. So, but no, in all seriousness, wants a cat to be his dog? No. Oh, that's crazy. Cat Dog, remember that show?
Yo, can I say something, man?
Yeah.
So a new neighbor has moved in 2 condos below me. So I'm on the 6th floor, even though there's no 4th floor.
Male or female?
It's a family. Joseph, pump the brakes, bro.
All right,
it's a family. I know.
Sorry,
right away, you see that, Neil? He didn't even want to know what the story had. He's like, look, bro, is it male or female? Like, all right, Joseph, they got a cat.
Yeah.
I don't have an aversion with cats. I know Ob loves cats. I love cats. I think they're great.
You already know I love it.
I know you love cats. I got no problem with cats. But here's the deal. This cat, bro, they let the cat on the balcony.
Yeah.
This cat's a wild one.
Oh no, it's
bro,
there.
I found the cat on the condo or the condo balcony below me.
No, it
climbed up.
Yeah. Those things are crazy.
And when we were out on the balcony and it's staring at us, bro.
Oh, so you were downstairs?
No, I'm looking right at it. It's looking right up at me.
I was gonna
so
say.
I'm like, this thing's already found its way up
there.
So we know it knows how to climb.
So it's only a matter of time until you find it on your balcony.
I find it on my balcony, and then, if it finds its way in, because maybe the screen door is open, there's 2 Frenchies there that are gonna...
Two cat killers right there.
I don't know what to do. But like, you gotta tell the neighbors downstairs. You gotta.
Hey, it's like, hey, I don't know. You just gotta start. Be like, hey, I know you guys haven't been here that long, but you gotta understand that Betty and Veronica run these hallways and the balconies around here. Otherwise,
that's so funny. If you saw how they looked like they ain't ready, they're not ready nothing.
They ain't doing nothing.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's so joke.
Our guy. Before we read this out, we got to be careful on what we're gonna read here.
All right. Are we good to go on this one? All right, we're going to do it live. Yeah. Sorry to hear Joe Homer is so tired today. I guess those bath bombs really did wear him out. Or maybe his ears hurt from all the laying on the couch. Really, Joey, tell him about that. Tell him about your outdoor escapades, baby.
No, yeah, but I guess, like, man, I was just riding the bike around. Yeah, so we just got those rental bikes. That's my new thing. For me, when I find something new, I just abuse it until I don't like it anymore. And right now, it's currently those bike shares. So it's just you tap that thing on your phone, and you're on your merry way, and you can just ride around the whole city instead of me rollerblading or anything like that. I can hop in and out, go to this store, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's what I was doing on Saturday. And then Sunday, we played hockey bright and early in the morning, and that was it, really. So, but then the reason why I'm tired is because also Milo got me up at 3:30.
Yes, I know. You gotta deal with that.
So these guys.
I respect that, man. I feel like I got a case of sunstroke, man, on Saturday. We spent hours and hours on the beach. It was sick time.
It was a heater out there.
Man, have you been to Queen Street on beaches, like just regular during the day?
No.
Man, you got to, okay, first of all, it's fantastic in terms of a patio kind of.
Patio environment.
Everything on Queen Street's got a patio. They're super live. And then like the beach access and Queen Street are not that far away from each other. So you got everybody coming in for lunch and then everybody goes right back down to the beach. It's so much better to go to that part of beaches than the actual like touristy part where they have the, exactly. Where people are not from the area.
Yeah, I usually don't roll on the east side of the DVP there. That's my limit.
Yeah, I know. Well, you got beaches is there.
Yeah, exactly.
Adara, I know you love the beaches as well.
We love the beaches, but let's first keep an eye here on bank earnings previews. This is for Q2 2025. This starts the earnings seasons off, and also just, I mean, certainly something worth watching. The first top row, these are going to be earnings we're expecting tomorrow morning. The bottom row, earnings on Wednesday morning. So if you want a quick refresher as to what the earnings per share and revenue estimates are going to be for tomorrow and Wednesday, check this out on X at TTV Research. Also, Sharif, in the beaches, you have to be very careful because one of my best friends used to live there, grew up there, and they have Facebook groups, and they will just call you out. Like, I've seen some of the posts, and at one point, a woman got very upset. People were wearing crop tops in the neighborhood. So, yeah, this is like, it is a very intense community, I must say that. Back to you.
Adara's point, because she's absolutely accurate. So this guy actually saved me. So you know how in a lot of Toronto streets, you can only park on one side of the road and then they flip the next month to the other side and you keep alternating, right? So I didn't realize because there were people parked on both sides. And I literally mean from the beginning of the street to the end. The left side was parked and everyone was parked on the right. So I parked with everybody on the right. And then there was this gentleman, you could tell, he was up to here because everyone parked illegally on that right side. No one was supposed to. So he sees me parking. Nice enough to come up. He's like, look, man, do what you want. But I'm telling you, if you park here, you're going to get slapped with a ticket because you're not supposed to park on this side. But I'm like, everybody else is parked over here. I mean, they're going to get everybody a ticket. Joey, there's like 35, 40 cars. It's the entire length of the road.
Oh, buddy, that guy, that ticket guy hit his quota.
I ended up seeing the ticket guy at the top of the street because I was walking the beach. I'm like, nothing's going to happen. So I asked the ticket guy, I'm like, or the parking enforcement guy. I'm like, you're going to slap everybody with a ticket? He's like, look, man. Yes, but even if I don't, there's like 20 other enforcement officers around the area. They will. So I just moved my car, bro. So he saved me like $60 on the ticket there. So even though they very much enforce their neighborhood rules, he saved me some money. So he's in my good
books. Shout out to them, man. And those people aren't in my good books. I'll tell you that for free. There's no questioning that. Did I tell you this story of a couple weekends ago? Sorry, we got the ad read. We're going to drop that story. Don't worry about that story. Anyway, actually, long story short, I'll just tell you guys. At the hockey arena, nowhere to park. I park on the grass. The lady's like, sir, you can't park there. And I'm like, who are you to tell me that I can't park here? Obviously, wasn't an enforcing lady or anything like that. But I'm like, this lady would 100% call the parking or tow company on me. So I had to move my car off of the grass and like
100%
drive around.
She'll call that on you.
1,000%. But I'm like, who are you? Get out of here. I'm just trying to play hockey.
She's a parking enforcement, pseudo parking enforcement lady. Joey. Are you looking to trade futures like the Nasdaq, the S&P, or even Bitcoin? Well, guess what? Top One Futures is one of the fastest growing prop firms out there, baby. They give traders a chance to manage up to $1 million in capital, and you choose your own path. You can choose instant funded, you can choose the challenge account, or even the pro account, and start trading your way to real profits, and even a live account, guys. And in the last 90 days alone, they paid out over $10 million, and they've earned over 1,000 5-star reviews from real traders, guys, just like you. So if you're interested, use that discount code TTV to save on any account, or scan that QR code, or head to top1futures.com and start trading towards your next payout. Shout out to them. Good look and a good idea there. All right, Joey, we're doing it freaking live. We're going to take some profits here on EOSE, but it is now time to send you
already
to Obi and Neil. But before we do that, Adara is at the big desk.
Great breakout here for OKLO. I'm not seeing any news on Oklo. I mentioned earlier, Bloomberg reporting that Trump is going to be unveiling $70 billion in AI and energy investments. But again, this headline's been repeated a couple times, but it was first reported at least, I think, 45 minutes to an hour ago, so it's not new. Either way, OKLO, decent retail attention, 15% short float, pushing higher as we send you over to the afternoon show with Obi and Neil. Back to you.
Ooh, I like that. I love that transition. Who did that?
What is up, everybody?
Assassino, that was legit. I'm a big fan of it.